Lieutenant Eric Whitfield had saved dozens of lives in 10 years as a firefighter, but none of them had amber eyes and a cherry smile that made him forget how to breathe. Until that Tuesday. This is the third story in the Sinclair and Whitfield trilogy. The complete playlist is appearing in the cards and the pinned comment, so you can binge watch and fall in love with every love story. Please hit the like button, subscribe, and stay with me until the end, because the story of Maplewood's most passionate firefighter and his little cherry is going to surprise you. The Maplewood Hollow fire station smelled of reheated coffee and motor oil, a scent Eric found almost comforting after so many years. He was sitting at the communal kitchen table, reviewing building inspection reports with the same concentration he used when entering burning buildings. Methodical, efficient, focused. At 31, Eric Whitfield was the type of man who inspired instant trust. Shoulders broad enough to carry both literal and figurative weight, a square jaw that conveyed determination, and that calm demeanor that only came from someone who had seen the worst and chose to continue showing the world their best. You are aware you look like a monk copying ancient manuscripts, right? Connor O'Brien appeared beside him with a steaming mug, his red hair disheveled, and that smile of someone who lives to disturb other people's peace. It's Tuesday morning, man. Relax. I am relaxed, Eric replied without taking his eyes off the paper, his pen gliding into a precise signature. You're doing inspection reports that aren't due until next week. Connor pulled up a chair and sat backward, arms crossed over the backrest. That's not relaxing, that's, productive social life procrastination. Eric finally looked up, an eyebrow arched. I have a social life. Drinking beer with me at Joe's bar doesn't count. Why not? Because I don't have a social life either, brother. Two lonely guys drinking beer is just shared loneliness. Connor took a sip of coffee, made a face. Ugh, this tastes like burnt tire. You made it. Exactly. He pointed the mug as if it were evidence. One more sign that we both need women in our lives. They make real coffee. Eric rolled his eyes and returned to the report, but a subtle smile touched his lips. Connor was annoying in just the right measure, the kind of friend who wouldn't let you sink into silence, even when silence felt more comfortable. Speaking of which, Connor continued, completely ignoring his friend's disinterest, Sarah from the front office asked about you yesterday. That's it? Dude, she's pretty, single, clearly interested, and you respond with I'm busy, Con. Busy doing what? Connor spread his arms dramatically. You live alone in that giant house, you overwork yourself, and on your days off you fix fences or play with that dog who is practically a living cushion. Eric, you're 31, not 80. 31 is a great age. For what? Collecting dust? Eric sighed, put down his pen, and finally faced his friend. I like my life the way it is. Lie. Connor narrowed his eyes, fingers drumming on the table. You like to control your life the way it is, which is different. Ever since Jessica got married and moved to New York, you've become like a sociable hermit. You exist in the world, but you don't live in it. There was an uncomfortable truth in that, and Eric knew it. Since his younger sister moved to New York and built her own life alongside James Sinclair, the white colonial house that had once housed laughter and teenage chaos had become too quiet. Even adopting Sir Wiggles II, a golden retriever with questionable IQ and a huge heart, named after Jessica's dog who had died years ago, hadn't completely filled the void. But Eric Whitfield was not one to complain. He was one to solve. I'm fine, Connor. Sure you are. Connor raised his hands in surrender, but the smile was knowing. But when an amazing woman crosses your path and you finally break out of this grumpy old man routine, I'm going to say, I told you so. Noted. Before Connor could continue his unsolicited therapy, the alarm pierced the air. 3 consecutive beeps. They both stood up instantly, a Pavlovian reflex. Eric was already moving before the voice crackled over the intercom. Attention, Bravo team, emergency call. Partial collapse at Hollow Creek Cave. 3 civilians trapped, possible injury, immediate mobilization. Connor whistled quietly as he ran beside Eric toward the locker rooms. Cave. Great. My favorite place to work. Dark, damp, and a risk of turning into a tomb. Optimism defines you, Con. Eric was already donning his rescue gear with military efficiency. Every movement precise, testing the carabiners, checking. The flashlight, adjusting his helmet. The station turned into a coordinated anthill. The team moved in sync. Jake, the 23-year-old rookie, checking ropes. Marcus, the 15-year veteran, already in the driver's seat of the truck. And Eric, naturally, taking a silent leadership role that no one questioned. Not because he was chief, technically they all held the same rank, but because when Eric Whitfield went into rescue mode, he radiated a competence and innate leadership suit that made you want to follow him into hell if necessary. Literally. "Okay, guys," Eric said as the truck sped off, the siren cutting through the quiet Maplewood morning. "Hollow Creek is stable for the most part, but we've had heavy rains the last few days. Soil might be compromised. Jake, you stay on the surface managing ropes. Marcus, with me on the descent. Connor, medical equipment ready." "Obviously," Connor replied, already organizing the first aid pack. "I was born ready." "You were born late," Jake muttered, provoking a general laugh that cut the tension. 12 minutes later, they were on site. Hollow Creek was one of several caves that dotted the hilly region of Maplewood Hollow. Limestone formations that attracted cavers and weekend adventurers. Usually safe, but usually was never a guarantee. 2 police cruisers were already on site, and a small group of people was talking to the officers, faces pale. A man in his 50s, wearing a trail jacket, and a tense expression, approached immediately. "Thank God." He pointed to the cave entrance. "3 of our colleagues are down there. There were 6 of us, but there was a collapse in the second chamber. We managed to get out, but they got trapped. There's a girl injured." Eric was already assessing the entrance. Loose rocks, a recent fissure on the side, unstable, but navigable. "How long ago?" he asked, his voice calm but clearly authoritative. 20 minutes. "Do they have light?" "Headlamps, but the batteries won't last forever." Eric nodded and turned to his team. "Marcus, Connor, with me. Jake, stay with the radio. Any instability, you yell." He placed a hand on the man's shoulder. "We'll bring them back. Breathe." And then Eric plunged into the darkness. Caves had their own smell, damp earth, ancient rock, and that still air that seemed not to belong to the world outside. Eric's flashlight cut through the gloom in a cone of white light, revealing uneven walls and the narrow path that sloped downward. "Team Bravo to base, we've entered the first chamber. Moving forward." Eric's voice over the radio was steady. "Copy, Bravo. Good luck." They advanced in professional silence, alert to every sound. Water dripping, stone grating, the echo of their own boots. Connor was right behind him, medical backpack on his shoulders, and Marcus brought up the rear with extra ropes. And then, a voice, faint, but clear. "Is anyone there?" Female, young, with a hint of relief mixed with pain. "Yes, fire department!" Eric shouted back. "Keep talking, we're coming to you!" He quickened his pace, his heart now pounding. Not from fear, but from purpose. People needed him, and Lieutenant Eric Whitfield always delivered. The second chamber was partially blocked. Boulders the size of basketballs cluttered the passage, but there was enough space to pass by crouching. Eric slid underneath, his flashlight sweeping the area. And that's when he saw her. 3 people, 2 men standing, unharmed but visibly shaken, and sitting on the ground, leaning against the rock wall, a young woman. Eric's flashlight landed on her face, and the whole world stopped. She was covered in dust, brown hair stuck to her forehead with sweat, a superficial cut above her eyebrow, high, delicate cheekbones, soft features that carried an unmistakable heritage, pale skin even beneath the dirt, a small, straight nose, lips in a perfect bow, shape, red, and a delicate aroma of cherry that sharpened his masculine senses. But it was her eyes that held him, amber, impossible, hypnotizing, golden like honey in the sun, contrasting almost supernaturally with her predominantly East Asian features. Almond-shaped but bright, fixed on him with an intensity that stole the air from Eric's lungs as if someone had punched his chest. She was exotic, not in the superficial sense of the word, but in the one that made the world seem bigger, richer, more interesting just because she existed in it. And then she smiled. She smiled, injured, trapped in a cave, covered in dust. And she smiled, a small, almost secret smile that illuminated those impossible eyes and made something inside Eric permanently rearrange itself. "Took you long enough," she said, her voice husky but carrying a touch of humor. Eric blinked. He breathed, or tried to. He remembered he was a professional. He remembered, at least in theory. "Lieutenant Eric Whitfield, Fire Department," he managed to reply, approaching her. "Are you injured?" "Nothing a band-aid won't fix." She made a move to stand and winced, biting her lip. "Okay, maybe we need a really big band-aid." Connor and Marcus were already assessing the two men, but Eric only had eyes for her. He knelt beside her, taking off his glove to touch her leg gently. "May I?" he asked, and she nodded. Delicately, Eric moved the torn fabric aside. The injury was superficial, a long cut but not deep, the blood already clotting. Nothing serious, but when his fingers brushed her skin to assess it, he felt it. Warmth, softness, and perfume? Cherry. How the hell did someone smell like cherries covered in dust in a cave? "Are you wearing perfume?" It slipped out of his mouth before he could filter it. She laughed, a low musical laugh that echoed off the rock. "Body lotion, cherry and vanilla." She tilted her head, amused. "I didn't think it would be relevant in a cave exploration, but hey, at least I don't smell like fear." Eric felt his lips curl without permission. "Good point." He reached for his pack, pulling out sterile gauze and antiseptic. Connor appeared beside him, his eyebrow raised upon seeing his friend working with almost delicate concentration. "The other two are fine," he murmured, just startled. "I can take them up now." You good here?" "I am," Eric answered too quickly. Connor smiled like, "The Cheshire Cat. I bet you are." Before Eric could respond, Connor was already helping the two men out. Marcus went along, leaving Eric and the woman alone in the chamber lit only by his flashlight. A moment of silence followed. "So," she began while he cleaned the wound with almost reverent care, "do you rescue people from caves often?" "Not as often as I'd like." Eric applied the antiseptic. She hissed but didn't pull away. More fires, car accidents, a cat in a tree now, and then a cat. 80-year-old owner crying. He shrugged. "You can't say no." She laughed again, and Eric decided that was his favorite sound now. "You're good at this," she commented, watching his hands bandage her leg with surgical precision. "It's the job." "No." She touched his wrist briefly, and Eric froze. "You're good at making people feel safe." "It's different." Their eyes met again. Amber and blue, fire and stone, and Eric Whitfield, the man who walked into fires. Without hesitation, felt his hands tremble. They never trembled. "You have a tattoo," he murmured, noticing the delicate design that snaked up her calf, partially visible beneath the bandage. "Cherry blossom branch," she confirmed, a small, secret smile. "My trademark, cherry blossom, cherry scent." Everything about her was cherry, and Eric was starting to think cherry was his favorite fruit. "Can you walk?" he asked, his voice rougher than intended. "I think so, but..." Yurishi hesitated, biting her lip in a way that made something churn in his stomach. "I might need support. I'll carry you." "You don't have..." "I'll carry you," he repeated, firm but gentle. And then, before she could protest, Eric slid one arm under her knees and the other across her back, lifting her as if she weighed nothing. Because compared to the gear he carried daily, she was light as air, but the impact of holding her in his arms, that weighed like an anchor. "You are absurdly large," she murmured, her arms circling his neck. "I'm a firefighter. It's literally a requirement." "Touché." He carried her through the cave, navigating among the stones carefully, and the whole time, the fruity scent enveloped him. Her body heat radiated against his chest, and Eric had the absurd thought that he didn't want to reach the surface. He wanted to stay there, in that suspended moment, where she was his to protect, and the world outside didn't exist. But daylight appeared, and with it, reality. Connor was waiting with the stretcher and the complete medical kit. He blinked when he saw Eric emerge with the woman in his arms, his smile growing. "Wow," he murmured. "Such chivalry." Eric ignored him, gently placing her on the stretcher with extreme care. Connor bent down to perform an additional assessment, but she nodded. "I'm fine, really. I just need a shower and a decent meal." "Protocol," Connor insisted, picking up his stethoscope. "Let me just check your pressure and..." While Connor worked, Eric stood there, still, watching. He couldn't leave. And then she looked at him again. "Thank you," she said, low but sincere, "for saving me." And Eric, the man who had ready phrases for every situation, the man who calmed victims with the right words, opened his mouth and said, "Thank you for being okay. Thank you for being okay." What the hell was that? Connor coughed, obviously swallowing a laugh. But her? She smiled. That smile that made her amber eyes shine like melted gold. "You're welcome?" she replied, amused. And Eric knew at that moment that he was completely lost. 20 minutes later, she was taken for precautionary checks at the local hospital. The paramedics placed her in the ambulance, and Eric stood watching the vehicle disappear down the road. Connor appeared beside him, arms crossed, an uncontrollable smile on his face. "Brother, no, you have that look." Eric turned his head, feigning confusion. "What look?" Connor leaned in, his eyes gleaming with the joy of a friend who had just gained ammunition for a lifetime, the one who just met his future. And Eric Whitfield, the brave firefighter who faced fire and ruins without flinching, couldn't disagree. Because for the first time in many years, someone, had made his heart beat faster than any flame, and he didn't even know her name yet. 3 days, 72 hours, 4,320 minutes since Eric Whitfield carried an amber-eyed woman out of a cave, and he couldn't stop thinking about her. This was unprecedented. Eric was not a man of distractions. His mind worked like rescue equipment, focused, objective, efficient. But since Tuesday, something had derailed. He burned toast because he forgot the toaster was on. He almost ran red lights. And worse, Connor had noticed. "You have that look again," the redhead commented on Friday afternoon, throwing himself into the chair next to Eric at the station with the smile of someone who knows exactly what they are doing. Eric didn't even lift his eyes from the equipment inventory. "I don't have any look." "Oh yes, you do." Connor leaned in, eyes twinkling. "It's the a woman is taking up space in my brain and I don't know how to evict her look." Connor. Amber eyes, right? The one from the cave? Connor bit into an apple, chewing loudly. "Did you check if she's okay? Call the hospital? Send flowers? Make a glitter card declaring eternal love?" Eric finally looked at him, eyebrow arched. "Glitter? Women love glitter, brother. It's science. You've never dated anyone for more than 3 weeks in your life." "Exactly. That's why I know what works." Connor pointed the apple like a weapon of wisdom. "So, what are you going to do? Wait for her to magically reappear? Kidnap another group of cavers to increase your chances?" Eric sighed, putting down, his clipboard. "She was injured. Protocol says injuries with stitches need to be checked within 72 hours. Connor stopped chewing. He smiled slowly. Protocol. Of course. It is real protocol, Connor." "Sure." The smile turned into a cat-like grin. "And you, the exemplary firefighter, are personally going to check her dressings, due to protocol." "Exactly. Not because you're obsessed. I'm not obsessed. And not because she's the first woman who's made you stutter. Since ever?" Eric opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again. "I didn't stutter. Thank you for being okay." Connor imitated, his voice deep and dramatic. "Dude, that doesn't even make sense. And you said it. I heard it. I was improvising. You were melting." Connor stood up, slapping his friend's shoulder. "Go on. Check her dressings. Protocol." He made air quotes with his fingers. "But do humanity a favor and bring flowers. No glitter since you're boring. But bring them." Eric rolled his eyes. But a few hours later, he was in the station parking lot with a small bouquet of daisies, discreet, not dramatic, and the address listed on her intake form. Hana Yoshida, 247 Maple Street. Hana. He finally knew her name. The Yoshida house was exactly the kind of place that made you pause and appreciate it. Classic American architecture. 2 stories, a wide porch, dark shingle roof, but with touches that set it apart from all the others on the street. An E.T. Impeccable Japanese garden in the side yard, visible from the sidewalk. Stones arranged in meditative patterns, a small arched bridge over a koi pond, bamboos swaying in the breeze, and stone lanterns that promised beauty at dusk. The perfect fusion of 2 worlds. Eric parked his pickup truck, took the flowers, suddenly feeling ridiculous, and walked to the door, still in his work uniform. He took a deep breath. He rang the doorbell. Hasty footsteps. And then the door swung open, revealing a teenage girl with dark shoulder-length hair, wide eyes that scanned him from head to toe, and a smile that could light up stadiums. "You're the firefighter!" she practically screamed. Eric blinked. Yes? The one who saved my sister. The hot firefighter, tall firefighter." The girl turned inside the house. "Hana, it's him. The handsome firefighter. Tall. Rin." A female voice. The voice Eric had been hearing on mental loop for 3. Tuzi echoed from somewhere inside, mortified. Rin turned back to Eric, not a trace of shame on her face. "Hi, I'm Rin, little sister. You're like a family hero now. Want to come in?" "Of course you do." She pulled him inside before he could answer. The house smelled of jasmine and something Eric couldn't identify. Incense, perhaps? Polished wood gleamed under natural light streaming through wide windows. Paintings mixed American landscapes with Japanese calligraphy. A pair of, traditional sandals, which Eric guessed were geta, rested next to modern sneakers on the shoe rack. And then she appeared. Hana Yoshida descending the stairs with the grace of someone born to move like water, brown hair loose in soft waves to the middle of her back, a simple cream-colored dress that contrasted with her fair skin, and those eyes, God, those eyes, golden even under ordinary light, wide in surprise. "Lieutenant Whitfield," she said, and just the name in her voice sounded, different. "Ms. Yoshida," he replied, returning the formality, and because remembering to breathe was already an achievement. "Please, call me Eric." She came down the last step, slightly limping, the injury, and then she saw the flowers. Her cheeks flushed. Eric decided that rosy tone on her pale skin was the 8th wonder of the world. "You brought flowers," she murmured. "Protocol." It slipped out of his mouth. Rin snorted a laugh, but before the awkwardness could permanently settle, a woman emerged from the side hallway. In her 50s, a natural elegance that resembled silk, hair pulled back in an impeccable low bun, and a presence that commanded silent respect. "We have a visitor," she said, her voice soft but weighty. Dark eyes assessed Eric in 2 seconds and apparently came to conclusions he didn't know whether to fear or celebrate. "Mom, this is Eric Whitfield, the firefighter who," Hana began, "the one who saved our daughter." The woman approached, a gentle smile but a sharp look. "Keiko Yoshida, it is an honor to welcome you to our home, Eric-san." She bowed slightly, not fully, but enough to be a significant gesture. Eric, country-raised but not rude, instinctively returned the reverence. "The honor is mine, Mrs. Yoshida. I just, came to check on Hana's recovery." He held up the flowers, feeling clumsy. "And bring these." Keiko took the bouquet with both hands, as if it were treasure. Daisies. Honest. Simplicity. She looked at Hana, then back at Eric. "You chose well." There was something in the tone, something that said, "You passed the first test." "Oka-san, stop embarrassing the man," Hana murmured. But she was smiling. "I am not embarrassing him. I am observing." Keiko turned with the flowers. "Rin, get water for these flowers. Hana, take Eric to the living room. I will prepare tea. Mom, you don't have—" "I insist." And the tone, though gentle, left no room for argument. Rin disappeared with the flowers. Keiko glided into the kitchen, and Hana stood there, biting her lip in a way that knotted Eric's stomach. "I'm sorry. My family is intense. I like them," Eric replied honestly. "You've only met 2.5. "A half? Is your father home?" As if invoked, a door opened upstairs, firm, controlled footsteps, and a man descended the stairs, in his 50s, military posture, thin-rimmed glasses, graying hair precisely combed. Hiroshi Yoshida. Didn't say anything. He just stopped on the last step and looked. Eric had been assessed before, by bosses, by instructors, by the fathers of girls he briefly dated. But the gaze of Hiroshi Yoshida was different. It was geological. Layers, weight, looking for structural flaws. Eric held the gaze, not defiant, respectful, but firm. Hiroshi came down the last step, approached, and extended his hand. "Hiroshi Yoshida. Eric Whitfield, sir." The grip was firm. "Test number 2. Eric's." Returned it in the exact measure, strong but not competitive. Hiroshi nodded, almost imperceptibly. "Approved. Hana told me what you did. The voice was deep, controlled. "Thank you for bringing my daughter back safely." "I just did my job, sir." "No." Hiroshi released his hand. "You did more. Hana said you went down first. Alone. That is not protocol. That is a choice." Eric didn't know what to say. Fortunately, Hana intervened. "Oda-san, you're going to scare him." "I am not scaring him. I am thanking him." But there was the slightest hint of humor at the corner of his mouth, and Eric realized Hiroshi Yoshida was the type who protected through silent intimidation. Eric knew the type. He was the type. "Living room," Hana said, pulling Eric by the arm before any more silent interrogations could occur. The living room was coziness personified. Soft sofa, embroidered pillows, a low dark wood coffee table, and shelves stacked with books in both English and Japanese. Through the window, the Japanese garden was visible, peaceful as a painting. Hana sat on the sofa, smoothing her dress, and indicated the spot next to her. Eric sat down, suddenly hyper-aware of every inch between them. "So," she began, a smile playing on her lips. "Protocol?" He chuckled, scratching the back of his neck. "Okay, maybe it's not exactly protocol. Maybe? Okay, it is definitely not protocol." He turned to her. "But I wanted to make sure you're okay. The wound could get infected if you don't take care of it properly." "Ah, so it's medical concern." "Totally medical. Nothing to do with you not being able to stop thinking about me." The tone was pure teasing, her eyes sparkling. Eric opened his mouth, closed it, decided on honesty. Maybe a little bit of that too." Her smile bloomed fully, and Eric felt a sense of victory as if he had saved 10 lives. "Can I see it?" he asked, indicating her leg. "The wound. Just to be sure." She hesitated but nodded. She adjusted herself on the sofa, extending her leg over the coffee table, her dress sliding up to her knee. The bandage was clean, well placed. Eric slid closer, professionally of course, his fingers touching the edge of the dressing. "Can I take it off?" "You can." He carefully peeled off the tape, revealing the already healing wound. Clean. No redness. Perfect. But it was the tattoo just below that captured his attention again. That delicate cherry blossom branch snaking up her calf, pink flowers in soft shades, thin branches like calligraphy, petals appearing to float, art that seemed to have grown naturally on her fair skin. She noticed his gaze. "It's beautiful," Eric murmured, tracing the air around it. Not touching, still professional. Almost. "Thank you." Hana looked at her own tattoo with a soft expression. "I got it when I turned 21. Cherry blossom is meaningful." "How so?" She bit her lip, and Eric noticed a small bowl of cherries on the side table. She picked one up, brought it to her lips, and bit into it. The dark red juice stained her lips instantly. Eric forgot how breathing worked. "In Japan," Hana explained, licking her lip distractedly. "For heaven's sake, the cherry blossom represents ephemeral beauty. Mono no aware, the awareness of impermanence. They bloom beautifully, and then they fall." She picked up another cherry. "It reminds me that beautiful moments are precious because they don't last forever. So you enjoy them while you can." She offered the cherry to Eric. He took it. Their fingers brushed. An electric shock. "What about the fruit?" he managed to ask, though his brain was partially offline. "My favorite." A secret smile. "Always has been. Sweet, but with a touch of sourness. Perfect. Just like you," Eric thought, but fortunately had enough sense not to say it out loud. He replaced the dressing, his fingers lingering longer. "The necessary. Okay, not so professional now." "It's healing perfectly," he said, his voice huskier than intended. "You took good care of yourself." "I had a good paramedic. Firefighter. A tall, handsome firefighter. According to my sister, of course." She looked at him with mysterious eyes, making him understand where her sister had gotten that definition. Eric felt his face burn, and a delightful sensation in his chest. Hana laughed, and the sound was sweet with a hint of mischief. Before he could reply, Keiko entered with a tea tray. Delicate porcelain, fragrant steam rising from small cups. "Green tea," she announced, serving it with movements that seemed choreographed. "Eric-san, do you appreciate tea?" Yes." Honestly, Eric drank more coffee than should be legal, but he wasn't going to refuse. He took the cup, handleless, hot, brought it to his lips and drank. It was different, earthy, bitter, but not unpleasant. Did you like it? Keiko asked, observing him with all-seeing eyes. It's interesting. Good. He took another sip, genuinely. Different from what I'm used to, but good. Keiko exchanged a look with Hana. Something passed between mother and daughter. Approval, perhaps. Stay for dinner, Eric-san, Keiko said, and it wasn't a question. I insist. Mom, he probably has plans. I'd love to. Eric interrupted, surprising himself. Hana blinked, smiled. Keiko nodded, satisfied, as if she had known all. Along he would say yes. Dinner at the Yoshida house was a sensory experience. The table was set with dishes Eric couldn't even name. Sushi, that he recognized. Bowls of perfectly molded rice, dark soup, misoshiru, Hana explained, grilled vegetables, and something that looked like meat but had a strange texture. Chicken teriyaki, Hana whispered beside him, clearly sensing his hesitation. I promise it's good. And chopsticks. Of course, chopsticks. Eric looked at the thin sticks, as if they were bomb disposal equipment. First time? Rin asked from across the table, a devilish grin. Maybe. Oh, this is going to be fun. Hiroshi watched in silence. Keiko smiled gently. Hana was biting her lip to keep from laughing. Eric picked up the chopsticks. He tried to imitate the way Hana held them. Squeezed the chicken. The chicken flew. It landed in Rin's lap, who burst into laughter. Okay, Eric said, laughing too because it was impossible not to laugh. That's harder than it looks. Let me teach you, Hana offered, leaning closer, and then her hands were over his. Delicate, warm, adjusting his fingers into the correct position, guiding the movement. Like this, she murmured. So close Eric felt the cherry scent envelop him. Gentle, don't force it, let the chopsticks do the work. He wasn't paying attention to the chopsticks. He was paying attention to the curve of her neck, to the warmth of her skin, to the way she bit her lip in a concentration. Try it, she encouraged. Eric tried. He managed to pick up the chicken, brought it to his mouth. Victory. Rin applauded. Keiko smiled proudly. Even Hiroshi nodded in approval. You learn fast, Hana said, a soft smile. Good teacher. And then dinner flowed. Rin told absurd stories from school, mimicking teachers with comedic talent. Keiko shared that she taught ikebana, Japanese flower arrangement, at the community center. Hiroshi eventually loosened up. I evaluate geological stability for highway construction, he explained when Eric asked. The caves in the region, they complicate everything. Does Hana work with you? Eric asked, connecting the dots. Indirectly. Hiroshi looked at his daughter with quiet pride. She maps and catalogs. I use her data to determine where not to build. I've explored caves in 12 countries, Hana added, and there was passion in her eyes. Each one is unique, living history written in stone. 12 countries, Eric repeated, impressed. And you came back to Maplewood Hollow? We moved from Seattle 2 years ago, Keiko explained. Hiroshi's project here is long-term, and Hana said the local caves were, what was it again, daughter? Underexplored and fascinating, Hana completed. Couldn't miss it. Eric smiled. So it was destiny, you coming here. Hana held his gaze. Perhaps it was. The moment stretched, charged, full of unspoken things. Rin broke it by pretending to choke. You two are painfully obvious, Rin, Hana hissed, throwing a napkin at her sister. But everyone laughed, and Eric realized, sitting at that table with a family that wasn't his but welcomed him as if he were, eating food he could barely pronounce, using chopsticks clumsily. He realized he didn't want to be anywhere else. Hours later, Eric was at the door. Hana accompanied him, leaving the family inside, though Rin was obviously peering through the window. Thank you, Hana said softly, for coming. My family loved you. They're incredible. Eric hesitated, hands in his pockets. And are you really okay? Your leg? I'm fine. She took a step closer. But you didn't have to invent an excuse, you know. Excuse me, protocol. She tilted her head, a small, devastating smile. You didn't have to invent one. I wanted to see you again, too. The words hit Eric like a wave. You did? I do, she corrected, her cheeks flushing. Present tense. Eric opened his mouth, but nothing came out. All the words in the universe evaporated. Hana chuckled softly, rose on her toes, and kissed his cheek. Quick, soft, a phantom cherry taste. "Good night, Eric Whitfield." And then she went inside, closing the door softly. Eric stood there, still, his hand touching the cheek where her lips had been, smiling like a complete idiot. Rin appeared at the window, giving an exaggerated thumbs-up sign. Eric laughed, shook his head, and walked to his pickup truck. 3 days ago, he had saved a woman from a cave. Tonight, he discovered that she had saved something in him too. Eric Whitfield couldn't stop smiling. He was at the fire station, polishing equipment that was already clean, and smiling, like a teenager, like an idiot. "You're pathetic," Connor declared, throwing himself into a chair with a soda. "Seriously, it's embarrassing to watch." "I don't know what you're talking about." "Oh, you don't?" Connor mimicked, high-pitched. "Thank you for being okay. Back to normal." "Dude, you had dinner at her house and came back with a lipstick mark on your cheek. Don't try to fool me." Eric touched his cheek instinctively. It wasn't lipstick. She wasn't wearing any. "Exactly." Connor pointed the can like a weapon. "Her natural lip marked you. That's worse. It means it's real flavor, not makeup. You are lost, brother." Before Eric could respond, his phone vibrated. "Hana, are you good in dark caves or just dramatic rescues?" The smile returned, impossible to control. "Eric, depends. Is this an invitation or a test?" "Hana, both. Crystal Falls tomorrow, 2 p.m., if you're brave enough," and a winking emoji. Connor stretched his neck, reading over his shoulder. "She sent a wink," he shouted. "Brother, that is official flirting." Eric locked his phone, putting it in his pocket, but his heart was beating like a fire alarm. "It's just a cave." "Sure, a cave. Dark, alone, super innocent." Connor stood up, walking to the equipment cabinet. "Hold on." He returned with a tactical flashlight, but not just any flashlight. It had neon pink tape stuck to it, forming a crooked heart. "What the?" Eric began. "Romantic flashlight," Connor announced proudly. "I lent it to Jake when he took his girlfriend camping. It worked. They got engaged 3 months later." "You taped a heart onto a tactical flashlight." "Exactly. It says, 'I am practical, but also sensitive.' Women eat that up for breakfast." Eric looked at the crooked heart. He sighed. He took the flashlight. Connor punched the air, victorious. Crystal Falls was a postcard cave. Wide entrance, a well-marked path, a system of stalactites that sparkled when light hit them at the right angle. Tourists visited in the summer. Safe, beautiful, perfect for a first. What? Date? Was it a date? Eric parked and saw Hana leaning against her own car. Dark jeans, a fitted black t-shirt, hair tied in a ponytail, backpack on her back. Practical, beautiful. She smiled when she saw him. "Did you bring a flashlight?" He held up the tactical flashlight with the pink heart. Hana blinked. She burst into laughter. "That is adorable." "Connor's fault. Your friend has good taste." She adjusted her backpack. "Ready?" "Always." They descended together. The cave quickly swallowed the daylight, replacing it with damp coolness and thick silence. But the flashlight, ridiculous, and all, lit the way well. Hana led the way, guiding him with the familiarity of someone who knew every stone. "Up there," she indicated, pointing upward. Eric followed her finger. Stalactites hung from the ceiling like crystal chandeliers, dripping mineral water that shone under the light. "They take 1,000 years to grow 10 centimeters, Hana explained, her voice gaining a different texture when she spoke about geology. "Passion. Each drop carries minerals." Patience turned into stone. "You love this," Eric observed. It wasn't a question. "I do." She touched the cave wall, reverently. "There's something about being beneath millions of years of history. It makes you feel small, but in a good way, like your problems aren't so big after all." Eric understood that more than he should. "My parents died when I was 20, he said, surprising himself. "Car accident. My sister Jessica was 17. Suddenly I was a father, a brother, everything." Hana stopped, turning around, amber eyes soft in the dim light. "Eric, I don't talk about it much, but in places like this," he looked around. "You're right. It makes the problems seem smaller, or at least bearable." She took a step closer. Her fingers touched his wrist lightly. "I'm sure you did an incredible job. From what she tells me, Jessica is radiant, happy. That's because of you." Or she's just strong. Both. Hana squeezed his wrist. Strength recognizes. Strength. The moment hung in the air, charged. Then Hana released him, continuing deeper. I had an accident once, she said, her voice lower. 5 years ago. Chile. An expedition. Someone didn't come back. Eric stopped. Hana, not today. She looked over her shoulder, a sad smile. But someday I'll tell you. Promise. He nodded. Silent respect. They walked deeper, and then the cave opened up. A subterranean lake. Water so still it perfectly mirrored the stalactite-filled ceiling. 2 caves, one real, one reflected. Pure magic. Wow, Eric murmured. Right? Hana knelt by the edge, her fingers touching the water. Ripples broke the mirror. I come here when I need to think. Eric knelt beside her. Their reflections shimmered together. Thank you, he said. For what? For bringing me here. For trusting me. Hana turned her head, their faces suddenly close. Inches. Amber eyes captured his. Shining. Deep. I trust you, she whispered. Eric's breath hitched. He could feel her warmth. The cherry scent. See the way her lips parted slightly. He leaned in. She did too. Millimeters now. Ring, ring, ring. Eric's cell phone exploded with sound, echoing in the cave like a siren. They both jumped. Eric swore softly, grabbing the device. Fire station flashing on the screen. I'm sorry, he answered. Whitfield. Eric, man, sorry. Marcus's voice. Jake got sick. Food poisoning. I need you to cover his shift. Starts in an hour. Eric closed his eyes. Of course, of course. I'm on my way. He hung up. He looked at Hana, who was biting her lip to keep from laughing. Duty calls? Always at the worst time. She stood up, extending her hand to help him. Their fingers intertwined. They ascended together, the silence comfortable but charged with unspoken things. Of almost kisses. Of suspended promises. In the parking lot, the sunlight temporarily blinded him. Eric blinked, adjusting. Hana leaned against his truck, arms crossed, a smile playing on her lips. Eric? Yes? Next time. She tilted her head, her eyes shining mischievously. Leave your phone in the car. It wasn't a request. It was a promise. That there would be a next time. That the almost kiss would be a full kiss. That this, whatever it was just beginning. Eric smiled. A wide, genuine smile that made his eyes sparkle. You got it. Hana chuckled softly, got into her car, and drove away, waving. Through the window, Eric stood there watching until the car disappeared, the ridiculous flashlight still in his hand, his heart beating like crazy. Connor was right. He was completely, hopelessly lost. And for the first time in years, he didn't want to be found. 1 week. 7 days of messages arriving at random hours and making Eric smile in the middle of meetings. Of casual encounters at the grocery store that were anything but casual. Of calls that lasted until the early morning, low voices, muffled laughs. 1 week where Hana Yoshida infiltrated Eric Whitfield's life like water. Silent, inevitable, essential. He was checking hoses when his cell phone vibrated. Message from Hana. Sunset Ridge. 6 p.m. Bring an appetite, and leave your phone in the car this time. Cherry emoji. Connor, passing by with a clipboard, read over his shoulder, curious. She sent a cherry. Brother, that's code. Code for what, wise guy? For, I want to kiss you until you forget your own name. Obviously. Eric rolled his eyes, but his heart sped up. It was true. Those red, tempting lips. At 5:45 p.m., he was in the Sunset Ridge parking lot, his phone locked in the glove compartment like a sworn juror. Hana was already there, brown hair loose in waves the wind played with, a light cream-colored dress swaying, a plaid blanket spread on the grass, a picnic basket beside it, and behind her, the sky beginning to catch fire, oranges, pinks, golds melting on the horizon. She was a painting. You came, she said, smiling. I always come when you call. Eric approached, hands in his pockets because he didn't know what to do with them. All this is too much? She bit her lip, suddenly insecure. I wanted to do something special. Return the dinner favor. It's perfect. Her smile bloomed fully. They sat down, and Hana opened the basket like magic, revealing treasures. Rice balls wrapped in seaweed. Delicate rolls Eric didn't. Know the name of fruit cut into artistic shapes and a small bowl of cherries? Of course. Did you make all this? He asked, impressed. Oka-san helped, but yes. Hana offered him a rice ball. Culinary experimentation is therapy for me. Eric bit into it. An explosion of flavors, slightly salty, perfect texture. This is incredible. Wait till you try dessert. She picked up a cherry, brought it to her lips, bit into it slowly. Eric watched, mesmerized. The way her lips closed, around the fruit, the red juice staining her fair skin, her tongue quickly cleaning the corner of her mouth. My God. Do you do that on purpose? It slipped out. Do what? Feigned innocence, her eyes shining mischievously. Kill me, deliberately. She laughed, a low, musical sound that wrapped around him like smoke. They ate as the sun went down. Conversation flowed easily. About nothing, about everything. But then Hana grew quiet, her fingers playing with the edge of the blanket. Can I ask you something? Always, Eric replied, turning fully towards her. Are you afraid of not being enough? The question caught him off guard. What do you mean? You take care of everyone. You save people. You raised your sister. You're a hero. She looked at him, raw vulnerability in her amber eyes. But who takes care of you? Eric took a deep breath. No one had ever asked him that. Never. I don't need taking care of. But his voice came out. Hollow. Everyone does. Hana touched his hand, their fingers intertwining. You're not made of stone, Eric, even if it seems like it sometimes. He looked at their joined hands, big and small, calloused and soft. I am afraid, yes, he admitted, his voice low. Afraid of failing, of not being strong enough. I lost my parents. I almost lost Jessica to that idiot ex. And now, he stopped. Now, she encouraged. Now I'm afraid of messing this up. He lifted his eyes. You. Hana held her breath. You won't mess anything up. You don't know that. I do. She squeezed his hand. Because you care. Men who care don't mess up. Men who pretend to, those do. Eric turned his hand, fully intertwining their fingers. What about you? What are you afraid of? Hana hesitated. She looked at the burning horizon. Of not being perfect. Her voice was small. My family, traditions, expectations. I've always been the exemplary daughter, the one who does everything right. She laughed humorlessly. But inside, sometimes I feel like I'm a fraud, that I'm going to disappoint everyone. You are the least fraudulent person I know. You barely know me. I see you. Eric touched her face with his free hand, his thumb brushing her cheek. And all I see is real, brave, incredible. Her eyes glistened with moisture. How do you do that? What? Make me feel like I can breathe. She leaned into his touch. Like I don't have to be perfect. Just me. Because you are enough. Exactly as you are. The sun touched the horizon, exploding in a final blaze of golden light. And in that moment, a strand of Hana's hair blew across her face. Eric caught it. Delicate. He tucked it behind her ear, his fingers lingering. May I? He asked, his voice rough, his eyes on her lips. Hana smiled. Small, devastating. I'll be angry if you don't kiss me. And Eric needed no further invitation. He leaned in, closing the space. Between them, he touched her lips with his. Softly first, testing, tasting. She sighed against his smile, and that sound disarmed the rest of his world. The kiss deepened in an instant of pure recognition. Hands intertwined, the approach inevitable. Cherry taste in the air, sweet and light like a promise. The world stopped. There was no sunset, no fear, no past. Only them, and the feeling of being exactly where they should be. When they finally separated, foreheads touching, breathless, Eric murmured, cherry flavor. Hana laughed, a low, happy sound. My trademark. He pulled her back for another kiss. She responded to him. The sky exploded in final colors, but neither of them saw. They were too busy rediscovering the world through new feelings. When they finally separated again, Hana's cheeks were flushed, her eyes sparkling. Wow, she whispered. Yeah, Eric smiled, lightly touching her face. Wow. She held his wrist, turning her head to kiss his palm. My cherry kiss, Hana, Eric thought, smiling like an idiot. My bear hug firefighter. Hana said out loud as if reading his mind. He blinked. Bear hug? You carried me out of the cave as if I weighed nothing. And now, she touched his chest. You hold me as if I were precious. Bear hug, strong, comfortable, and safe. Eric pulled her fully against him, wrapping his arms around her. She laughed, fitting perfectly against his chest. Like this? Exactly like this. They stayed embraced as the stars began to appear. Perfect silence. Complete. Then her phone rang. Hana sighed, picking up the device. She looked at the screen and smiled. Sorry, it's my dad. She answered, her voice switching to Japanese. Moshi moshi, Oto-san. Eric watched as she talked, a respectful tone, nodding a few times, a small smile on her lips. When she hung up, he asked, Everything okay? Yes. She put the phone away, resting her head on his shoulder. Just my dad asking if I ate properly and if I got home safely, even though I'm here. Eric chuckled softly. Dad being dad. Exactly. Hana looked up at him, her eyes shining softly. He likes you, you know, a lot. But I'm still his daughter, and I respect that. Eric kissed her forehead. Speaking of which, I think I should take you home soon, before he sends a search party. Probably. She laughed but didn't move. 5 more minutes? As many as you want. And Hana snuggled against him. Safe. Happy. Eric hugged her tighter, breathing in the scent of cherry, feeling her perfect weight against his chest. This, he thought, this is what I wanted, what I needed. And for the first time in a long time, Eric Whitfield felt complete. Eric was cleaning the house for the 3rd time when Connor showed up at the door, his eyebrow raised. Dude, you vacuumed the couch pillows. So? Nobody does that. Connor walked in, analyzing. You're nervous. I'm not. Your sister is coming to meet your girlfriend and you're reorganizing books by color. You're panicking. Eric stopped, a red dictionary in his hand. Okay, maybe a little. Brother, Jessica already loves Hana. I'd bet my truck on it. You don't know that for sure. I do, because you love her, and Jessica trusts your judgment. Connor patted his shoulder. Breathe. It'll be fine. 15 minutes later, the minivan pulled up in front of the house. Instant chaos. Jessica got out first. Blonde. Hair in a ponytail, wide smile, pure energy. Behind her, James Sinclair unfolding a stroller. 3-year-old Andrew running in circles yelling, Uncle Eric. Wide smile, pure energy. Behind her, James Sinclair unfolding a stroller. 3-year-old Andrew running in circles yelling, Uncle Eric. And 1-year-old twins babbling in their car seats. Eric descended the steps, a huge smile taking over. Andrew launched himself at his legs like a human projectile. Uncle! Uncle! I saw a cow on the way! A cow? Eric lifted him, tossing him into the air. The boy roared with laughter. How lucky are you, huh? She was big. Andrew spread his arms dramatically. Son, you said that about a dog too, James commented, taking the twins out of the van. Jessica jumped onto Eric's neck, hugging him tightly. Hey, big brother. Hey, short stack. He hugged her back, feeling the familiar squeeze in his chest. Nostalgia. You look different, Jessica said, pulling back to study him, green eyes twinkling curiously. Lighter. I look the same. Lie. You have that look of someone who woke up and the world got more colorful. She poked his chest. Where is she? She's coming later. She's making cake. Cake? Eric, this woman is already my favorite and I haven't even met her yet. James appeared beside them, twins in his arms, smiling. Eric, good to see you, man. They greeted each other, half hug, half handshake, guy thing. Your house is sparkling, James commented. Did you wax the floor? Maybe. Jessica burst out laughing. My brother is in love. Before Eric could answer, barking exploded inside. Sir Wiggles, too, appeared at the door like a golden hurricane, tail wagging with a force that threatened to knock him over. And behind him, a smaller furball, Muffin, Jessica's dog. The two met on the lawn in a whirlwind of barks, jumps, and pure canine joy. Well, James said, at least they get along. Hana arrived at 3 p.m. sharp. A simple light blue dress, brown hair loose, a basket in her hands, and a nervous smile that made her even more beautiful. Eric opened the door before she could knock. Hi. She lifted the basket. I brought castella, Japanese cake. I hope they like it. They'll love it. He held her hand, squeezing it. Relax, they're great. What if they don't like me? Impossible. But when they entered, Eric realized Hana was gripping the basket too tightly. Truly nervous. Jessica was in the living room, organizing toys while Andrew built a tower with blocks. She looked up, saw Hana, and smiled. So you're the one responsible for making my brother look like a love-struck fool. Hana blinked. She laughed, her nervousness melting away. Guilty. Jessica Sinclair. She held out her hand but pulled Hana into a hug before the woman could react. Anyone who makes my brother smile like that is already family. Eric felt his chest warm. Hana Yoshida. It's an honor to finally meet you. Eric talks about you all the time. Lies, surely. Jessica took the basket, peering inside. Oh my God, that smells like heaven. What is it? Castella, a cake of Portuguese origin but adapted in Japan. Light and sweet. You won me over. Done. We're best friends now. James appeared from the kitchen with coffee, smiling. James Sinclair. Nice to meet you, Hana. The pleasure is mine. Hana shook his hand, polite. So, James exchanged a look with Eric, a mischievous smile growing. Are you the woman who made Eric stutter? Eric rolled his eyes. I didn't stutter. Thank you for being okay. Jessica imitated, her voice deep. Hana covered her mouth, laughing. Is that true? Betrayal, Eric muttered. My own family. Connor and his big mouth. Did he also threaten someone because of you? James asked Hana, too innocent. Because when I started dating Jessica, Eric told me he knew 17 different ways to make a body disappear, and no one would ever find it. Hana's eyes widened. She turned to Eric, her smile growing. 17? Eric scratched. The back of his neck, embarrassed. I was being protective. He was being terrifying, James corrected, but he was smiling. It worked, by the way. I married her and never considered doing anything stupid. Good to know, Hana said, looking at Eric with something new sparkling in her eyes. Admiration. I like that fierce, protective side. You shouldn't encourage that, Jessica said, but she was laughing. Andrew chose that moment to knock down the block tower and start crying. Oh no, Jessica muttered, going over to him. But Hana was faster. She knelt beside the boy, her voice soft. Hey, it's okay. Towers fall. We build them again, okay? Andrew sniffled, looking up at her with wide blue eyes. You talk pretty. Hana smiled, picking up a block. Do you want to build with me? Yes. And then she began to sing, softly, in Japanese, a gentle melody that turned his crying into curiosity. Andrew stopped completely, fascinated. Eric, watching. Everything from the doorway felt something squeeze in his chest. Future, flashing in front of him. Clear, inevitable. James appeared beside him, his voice low. She's special, man. I know. Don't mess it up. I won't. The afternoon melted into laughter, coffee, and cake that Jessica declared the best thing she'd ever eaten. Hana and Jessica disappeared into the kitchen, their voices blending in animated conversation. Eric stayed in the living room with James, the twins. Sleeping on the sofa, Andrew playing with the dogs in the backyard. So, James said, seriously this time, are you happy? Eric didn't hesitate. Happier than I've been in years. She's different, isn't she? James sipped his coffee, observant. Not in the obvious sense, but she balances you. You seem less tense. She's water, I'm fire. Eric smiled. It works. Different cultures too. Does that worry you? Should it? No. James shrugged. But I ask because you're like deep roots, tradition, and she brings a different world. I like her world. Eric looked out the window, seeing Hana laugh at something Jessica said. It makes my world bigger. James smiled. You're lost, brother. In a good way. In the kitchen, Jessica was cutting the cake while Hana washed dishes. So, Jessica began, her voice soft. How did you two meet? Eric only told me cave, and turned red. Hana laughed, water running over the dishes. I got trapped during an exploration. He rescued me, very cinematic. Typical of him, always the hero. Jessica paused, knife in the air. But you know he doesn't need to save you, right? He needs someone who is beside him, not behind him. Hana looked at Jessica, surprised by the depth. I know. And that's exactly what I want to be. A partner, not a project. Jessica smiled, satisfied. You understand him. It wasn't a question. It was recognition. My brother has been carrying the world on his shoulders since he was very young. He needs someone who will let him rest sometimes. I want to be that place for him, Hana said, honest. If he lets me, he will. Jessica touched her arm, gentle. He already is. I see it in the way he looks at you, like he can finally breathe. Hana felt something squeeze in her chest, warm and certain. He is extraordinary. He is. And also stubborn, overly protective, and terrible at asking for help. Jessica laughed. But when he loves with everything, so… She tilted her head, assessing. I just want to make sure you're ready for that. For him. For the whole package. Hana held her gaze firm. I am. More ready than I've ever been for anything. Jessica nodded, silent but powerful approval. Welcome to the family then. Officially, in my head at least. And just for the record, Jessica added, a mischievous smile. If you hurt him, I know 18 ways to make a body disappear. One more than me. Hana burst out laughing. Fair enough, but I promise I won't need to find out what they are. The afternoon melted into organized chaos. Andrew teaching Hana how to fly paper airplanes, which looked more like falling meteors. James and Eric fixing the back fence while talking low. Jessica taking photos of everything. At one point, Eric went back inside for water and found Hana sitting on the living room floor, twins on her lap humming something soft in Japanese while they drooled happily. He stopped at the doorway, just watching. Jessica appeared beside him, following his gaze. She's a natural at this, she murmured. She is. Eric's voice was hoarse. You're thinking about the future, aren't you? I always think about it. Jessica nudged her brother, smiling. Good, because this one, she's the one. Don't let her go. Eric looked at his sister, something vulnerable in his eyes. Are you sure? Absolutely. Jessica squeezed his arm. And you are too? You're just afraid to believe it. He nodded slowly. He looked back at Hana, adoring the cherry smile that took his breath away. At dinner, Eric made a point of sitting next to Hana, his hand naturally resting on her lower back. A small gesture, but a public declaration. She is mine. I am hers. When Hana talked about her work, mapping caves and cataloging discoveries in 12 countries, Eric listened with evident pride, adding details she modestly omitted. She has been, published in 3 international scientific journals, he said, looking at her with naked admiration, and has a lecture scheduled at a conference next year. Hana blushed. Eric, it's true. He held her hand across the table, intertwining their fingers. You're incredible at what you do, don't hide it. James and Jessica exchanged a knowing look, smiling. For dessert, Eric brought his famous apple pie to the table, a perfect golden crust, cinnamon scent filling the air. His only culinary specialty, Jessica announced, dramatic. But so good we kneel for another slice. Exaggeration, Eric muttered, cutting generous pieces. Absolute truth, James corrected, already attacking his slice. Hana tasted it. Her eyes widened. Eric, this is incredible. You bake? Very little. He scratched the back of his neck, modest. But the apple pie is a family legacy. My mother made it. My grandmother before her. I took the responsibility of keeping the tradition alive. Hana touched his hand, soft. That's beautiful. Honoring your family like that. Eric held her gaze, something warm in his chest. Then he winked, a mischievous smile appearing. At the next dinner, I promised to vary the recipe. Swap apples for cherries. Hana flushed instantly, biting her lip to hide her smile. Eric thought that was the most beautiful thing he had ever seen. Jessica and James exchanged another look, this time accompanied by knowing smiles and exaggerated sighs. These two were inevitable. Hours later at the farewell, Jessica hugged Hana tightly. Take care of my big brother for me, she whispered. He pretended he didn't need it, but he does. I will take care of him, Hana promised, as he takes care of me. When the van left, Eric and Hana stood on the porch, their shoulders touching, a comfortable silence between them. Your sister is amazing, Hana eventually said. She adored you. Eric put his arm around her, shoulders pulling her to his side. Not that I had any doubts. Were you afraid? A little. He kissed the top of her head. Her opinion matters. A lot. And yours? Hana looked up, her golden eyes shining under the porch light. Does it matter to you what I think of your family? More than anything. Then know this. She turned fully, her hands on his chest. That I loved every second. Your sister James, the kids, everything. She paused. You built something. Beautiful, Eric. And letting me be a part of it. It means everything to me. Eric held her face between his hands, his thumbs caressing her cheeks. You're not being a part. You are a part. Already. And he kissed her. Slow, deep. A silent promise of something that words were not yet ready to carry. But that both felt undeniable, growing between them like a root. Forever. It didn't need to be said yet. It was already happening. Without them realizing it, the weeks flew by. A new rhythm, amidst dates, phone calls, and comfortable silences. Until the day the sound of sirens broke the interval between them. 12 hours. An industrial warehouse fire. Compromised structure. 3 partial collapses. 2 victims rescued. But Eric had carried the second. A 200-pound man. Down a ladder while beams crashed behind them. Heroism was costly to the body. When he finally left the station at 8 p.m., his trapezius muscle locked, his shoulder aching, every step a painful negotiation. Hana was leaning against his pickup truck, brown hair tied in a loose bun, black leggings, an oversized sweatshirt, and golden eyes that assessed him in 2 seconds and saw everything. You're limping, she said, in a tone that allowed no lies. Rough day, fireman. I'm fine, Eric. She approached, her fingers touching his shoulder. He flinched. You can barely lift your arm. It's just a locked muscle. It'll pass. When? Next week? She tilted her head. Decision already made. Come on, I'm going to your place. Let me drive. Hana, you don't have... Let me take care of you this time. The firmness in her voice mixed with gentleness cut off any argument. Eric just nodded, defeated but secretly relieved. His house smelled of wood and coffee that night. Masculine, functional, but welcoming. Hana walked in looking around. A somewhat worn leather sofa, a slightly disorganized bookshelf, photos of Jessica in frames, a plaid blanket tossed. Over an armchair, she remembered the last time she was there with his family. The house was him, in the form of a space. Sorry about the mess, Eric muttered, tossing his keys onto the side table. It's not messy. It's lived in, and quite organized for a man who lives alone. She touched a photo, Eric and Jessica as teenagers, smiling. I like it. Sir Wiggles II sprinted over, his tail wagging violently, licking Hana as if he hadn't seen her in years. It had been 2 days. Hi, big guy. She scratched him behind the ears. Do you take good care of your owner? The dog barked in agreement. Eric watched from the doorway, something tightening in his chest. Her natural presence there, as if she belonged. Go take a hot shower, Hana ordered, her voice soft but leaving no room for negotiation. Nice and hot water. It relaxes the muscles. I'll prepare the rest. The rest? Massage. She took off her sweatshirt, revealing a simple t-shirt underneath and tied her hair up tighter. I learned from my mother, shiatsu, acupressure, some techniques of my own. Luckily, I have oils in my bag. Go, shower. Now. Eric smiled, raising his hand in surrender. Yes, ma'am. The shower was simultaneous torture and relief. Hot water dissolving tension, but exposing every bruised muscle. When he came out, steam escaping the bathroom in loose sweatpants and shirtless because it hurt too much to put one on, he found the living room transformed. Lights dimmed. Candles lit. When did she find candles? A blanket spread on the floor over pillows, and Hana kneeling next to an oil bottle, waiting. Lie on your stomach, she said, her voice low. Eric obeyed, lying on the blanket. The floor was surprisingly comfortable. Hana positioned herself beside him, warming lavender oil between her palms. The scent filled the air, calming, earthy. Relax, she murmured, her hands resting on his shoulders. And then she began, fingers pressing exact points, dissolving knots Eric hadn't even known existed. Palms gliding in firm yet delicate movements, mapping every muscle, every tension, releasing years of carried weight. Eric groaned softly, involuntarily. Sorry, he muttered, embarrassed. Don't apologize. Hana laughed softly. It means I'm doing it right. She worked in silence for minutes, only the sound of breathing and oil sliding on skin. Then, her voice low, "You carry everyone, don't you?" On your back." Literally and figuratively, thumbs pressing a stubborn knot in his trapezius. "Your sister, people in fires, even Sir Wiggles II." A pause. "Who carries you?" Eric closed his eyes, his throat tight. "I don't need to be carried. Everyone does. Sometimes." Hands moving down his spine, firm. "Even heroes. I'm not a hero. I just do my job." "You saved 3 people today," Connor told me. She leaned closer, her voice nearer. "Eric, you are a hero. But here, with me, you can. Just be a man, tired human." Something broke in his chest, a wall he hadn't even known he had built. "I'm afraid," he admitted, his voice hoarse, "of failing, of not being strong enough, of losing people I love." Her hands paused, then started again, softer. "You won't lose. Not while I'm here. Do you promise that?" "I promise." She brushed her lips against the back of his neck, a brief, tender gesture. "You're stuck with me now, fireman." Eric smiled into the makeshift pillow, muscles melting, mind slowing down, everything calming. Hana continued humming something low in Japanese, an enveloping, hypnotic melody. And then, darkness, a deep, complete sleep for the first time in years. Hana realized when his breathing changed. Deep, regular, asleep. She smiled, continuing the gentle massage for a few more minutes, ensuring he wouldn't wake up. Then she grabbed the blanket from the sofa, covering him carefully. She sat beside him, just watching. His face, relaxed in sleep, was different. Younger, the line of worry between his eyebrows gone, his square jaw softened. Beautiful, strong, but vulnerable. Protective, but needing protection. "My fireman." She leaned in, kissing his forehead, her fingers pushing away a lock of dark hair. "Rest," she whispered. "I'll watch." Sir Wiggles II settled down next to his owner, his snout on Eric's arm. Hana scratched the dog's head. "Good boy. You take care of him when I'm not around, right?" "Oh." Soft bark. Agreement. Hana grabbed a book from the shelf, something about rescue techniques, of course, made tea in the silent kitchen and returned to the sofa. Sir Wiggles II soon followed her, climbing onto her lap as if he were an 11-pound dog. He wasn't. She read, drank tea, watched Eric sleep. Hours passed, until near midnight he stirred, blinked, disoriented. "Hana? Hi." She put down the book, smiling. "Welcome back." Eric sat up slowly, rubbing his face. He looked around. Candles now out, only the soft kitchen light, a blanket over him. Hana on the sofa with a giant dog on her lap. "How long?" 3 hours. 3? He looked at her, shocked. "You stayed here the whole time?" "Of course." As if it were obvious. "Hana, what did you do to me, my geisha?" He ran his hand through his hair, half laughing. "I feel like I slept for days." "Seriously, you?" His eyes narrowed, playful. "You didn't take advantage of me sleeping, did you?" Hana set the cup down slowly, loving hearing him call her that for the first time. She looked at him, her expression shifting. Mysterious, sensual, silent for seconds that stretched deliciously. Then, her voice low. "I thought about tattooing your face." Eric swallowed hard. "But you're too handsome." She smiled. "It would be a waste." He laughed, a husky sound, and stood up. No pain now, she noticed. He walked to the sofa, removing Sir Wiggles II from her lap. The dog protested and pulled Hana to him. "Come here." He wrapped her in his arms, a full embrace, a bear hug. She melted against his chest, her arms around his waist, her face nestled into his neck. "Thank you," Eric murmured into her hair, "for taking care of me, for staying. Always." She squeezed tighter. "Whenever you need it." Eric pulled back slightly, his hands on her face, looking into her golden eyes that shone under the dim light. "You're important to me." His voice was intense, honest. "Very important, more than—" He paused, searching for words. "More than I can explain yet." Her eyes glistened, moist. "You are too, to me." Her fingers touched his chest, over his heart. "Everything you are, everything you represent, it's important. You are important." They looked at each other, truly looked at each other, and they both felt it. Love, unspoken, not yet, but there, pulsing between them like a living flame. Eric rested his forehead against hers. Their breaths mingled. He kissed her forehead, long, reverent. Then she pulled away, grabbing her sweatshirt. I need to go. My mom will freak out if I get home too late. I don't want to get grounded. Let me take you. I have my car, okay? You need to stay and rest. It wasn't a request. At the door, she turned, her hand on the doorknob. Eric? Yes? Sleep well. Really well this time. Only if you come back tomorrow to guarantee it. She laughed, came back, gave him a last kiss, and turned to leave. The door closed softly. Eric stood there, hand on his chest where her heart had touched, sighing, happy, completely lost, happy to be. 6 weeks, enough time for a routine to form like roots, silent, deep, essential. Eric learned that Hana drank green tea every morning at 7 a.m. sharp. Hana discovered that Eric sang badly in the shower. He memorized that she tied her hair up when she was nervous. She knew that he scratched the back of his neck when he lied, rarely, but it happened. Small things that built everything. Tuesday nights became Japanese cooking lessons in the Yoshida kitchen. Eric, a man who mastered a grill as an extension of his own arm, was humbly destroyed by Japanese rice. How can it be so difficult? He stared at the pot like a personal enemy. It's rice. It's Japanese rice, Hana corrected, laughing. Right texture, exact amount of water, precise timing. It's science. I run into burning buildings. This shouldn't be harder. Rin, sitting on the counter eating a cherry, commented, Maybe you're better at saving people than feeding them. Rin, Keiko warned, but she was smiling. What? I'm helping. Rin looked at Eric. But seriously, you're like incredibly tall. How do you fit inside caves? Squatting, and with patience. You have patience for caves, but not for rice? Rin shook her head, dramatic. Questionable priorities, tall as a tower firefighter in a uniform. Eric blinked. Firefighter what? Nothing! Rin jumped off the counter, red-faced. I'm going to do homework, which I don't have. Bye. She disappeared in a hurry. Hana covered her face, mortified. I'm sorry. She's 17 and has zero shame. Eric chuckled, pulling Hana by the waist. She protects you. I like that. She calls you a tower. Could be worse. He kissed the top of her head. And technically, I am tall. On Thursday, Hana visited the fire station officially. Connor saw her first and practically ran inside, yelling, The girlfriend is here. Behave. Eric was reviewing equipment when Hana walked in, shy but smiling. The entire crew stopped. Guys, Eric said, his hand on her lower back, a protective gesture. This is Hana, the famous speleologist. Marcus extended his hand, a wide smile. I've heard a lot about you. I hope good things. Only loving things. Connor chimed in, earning a murderous look from Eric. Jake, the rookie, blushed up to his blonde hairline. You're even prettier without all that cave dust, and he swallowed hard. Prettier than the lieutenant said. Actually, you're really beautiful and, wow, your eyes are like amber? Is that a thing? Like a growing awkward silence. Eric took a step forward, a smile on his face, his eyes not smiling. Jake, sir, if you keep complimenting my girl. Eric rested his hand on the young man's shoulder, squeezing lightly. I'm going to have to teach you advanced rescue protocol. You know that training? The one that involves hanging upside down from the tower for hours. Jake paled. I was just being polite, sir. Very polite. Eric tilted his head, his smile growing. Keep it up and you'll get to know all the exercises I've invented over the last 6 years. Personally. Connor coughed, hiding a laugh. Marcus simply stepped away, his hands raised in surrender. Hana, however, burst into genuine laughter. Eric Whitfield, are you jealous? No. Too quickly. Yes, you are. She stood on her tiptoes, kissing his cheek. It's cute. And unnecessary. She looked at Jake, who looked like he wanted to merge with the wall. Jake, thank you for the compliments. You're very sweet. Jake relaxed. A little. You're welcome. But, Hana continued, intertwining her fingers with Eric's, a mischievous smile. My heart already has an owner, and he's a little territorial, so maybe avoid comments about my eyes near him. For safety? Noted. Jake practically ran to the other side of the station. Eric pulled Hana closer, murmuring in her ear. A little territorial? A little? She raised an eyebrow. Honey, you almost hung the guy upside down for calling me pretty. He exaggerated. He was polite. He was too polite. Hana laughed, resting her forehead on his chest. I like that protective side. But relax, fireman. I'm all yours. Eric kissed the top of her head, finally relaxing. I know, but it doesn't hurt to reinforce it. Connor appeared, slow clapping, a wide grin. That was beautiful. Terrifying, but beautiful. Jake is going to have nightmares for weeks. Good. Eric shrugged unapologetically. You are impossible, Hana said, but she was smiling. Connor took the opportunity to show Hana the entire station, narrating embarrassing stories about Eric that absolutely should not have been told. Eric tried to interrupt. 3 times. He failed. When they left, Hana was holding his hand, smiling. Your team loves you. My team, loves you. She squeezed his hand. I saw it in the way they talk about you. Respect, admiration, family. Eric sighed, but he was smiling playfully. You're fitting into everything, into my life, too easily. Maybe because I belong here. He stopped, looked at her, something immense in his chest. Maybe so. Yoshida dinners became a sacred tradition. Fridays, 7 p.m. without fail. Eric would arrive with flowers. Always different, always chosen with Keiko in mind. Hiroshi would greet him with a nod that was growing progressively warmer. Rin would attack him with questions about dramatic rescues. Hana would glow. But this Friday after dinner, Hiroshi did something unprecedented. Eric-san, could you come to the study? Hana looked at her father, surprised. Keiko smiled, mysterious. Eric followed, his heart racing. This was a test. The final. 1. The study smelled of paper and earth. Maps covered entire walls. Topographic, geological, layers of information that looked like abstract art to the untrained eye. Hiroshi pointed to a specific one. This is the project. 20 kilometers of highway. 12 known caves along the route. His finger slid. Here, here, and here. Hana mapped all of them. Without her, we would have built on unstable structure. Deaths. Collapses. She is exceptional, Eric said. Honest. Yes. Hiroshi turned, his dark eyes assessing. Do you understand the weight of protecting? Sir, you carry people from fire. I protect structures from collapse. We both know, he paused, that protecting is not always holding on. Sometimes it is letting go. Eric understood, deeply. Hana doesn't need a cage, she needs wings. Hiroshi tilted his head, surprised. You understand that? Yes. Eric took a step closer. She doesn't need protection. She needs a partner. Someone to walk alongside her, not in front, not behind, side by side. Silence stretched. Then Hiroshi nodded. Slow, powerful. Well answered. He extended his hand. You have my blessing, Eric Whitfield. Officially, the handshake was firm. Equal. Mutual respect. Eric felt something release in his chest. Approval he hadn't known how much he needed. In the kitchen, Keiko was teaching Eric how to make onigiri. Rice balls. Simple in theory, complex in execution. Delicate, Keiko instructed. Her hands molding the rice like clay. Too much force, it crushes. Too little force, it falls apart. Balance, Eric tried. The rice exploded. Keiko laughed, gentle. Try again, think of what you love. Mold with care. Eric thought of Hana, his hands working slowly. Care, reverence, the onigiri formed perfect. See? Keiko touched his shoulder. Love teaches patience. Keiko-san, Eric began, hesitant. Can I ask you something? Always. How do I balance protecting without smothering? She paused, thoughtful. Fire needs oxygen, yes? But too much wind extinguishes the flame. Her eyes met his. Hana is fire too. Bright, hot. You give oxygen, but not wind. Do you understand the difference? I think so. Good. She smiled. Because my daughter chose well. A man who asks how to love better already loves correctly. Night fell gently. Hana and Eric walked in the Japanese garden. Stone lanterns lit, bamboo whispering. My father took you to the study, Hana commented. He never does that. He tested me, I think I passed. Of course you passed. She intertwined her fingers with his. Your family accepted me, truly. Because you are impossible not to love." The words escaped, soft but intense. Eric stopped. He felt a warmth in his chest upon hearing those words. He pulled her closer, forehead to hers. He wanted so badly to kiss her and tell her how much he already loved her. Hana, her phone, vibrated once, twice, insistent. She ignored it at first, but on the third she sighed, picking up the device. Email. Her face changed. Just a flash, but Eric saw it. Tension. Worry. "Everything okay?" he asked. "Yes." She locked the phone too quickly. Just work, nothing important, the first lie between them. Eric felt it. A small crack where before there had only been certainty. But he didn't pressure her. Not yet. "Come." He pulled her into a hug. "It's cold." She came. But something had changed, and they both knew it. Eric Whitfield had a decade of experience as a firefighter and a trained instinct to detect smoke before the fire appeared. Something was wrong with Hana. Small things, imperceptible to most. But Eric was not most. The way she checked her phone compulsively during dinners, the way she avoided his gaze when he asked about work, the vague, generic answers, where before there had been detailed enthusiasm. And worse, she was secretive. She would quickly turn off the screen when he approached. She would leave the room to take calls. She smiled, but the smile didn't reach the amber eyes he knew so well. On a Tuesday night, she fell asleep on his sofa. Eric fetched a blanket to cover her and saw it. Phone open, email visible. Research proposal, Akiyoshi Caves, Japan. He didn't read further. It wasn't his style, but the tightness in his chest? That was real. Hana woke with a start, disoriented. "Hey." Eric was sitting in the armchair, watching. "Sleep badly?" She rubbed her face. "Sorry, I'm exhausted." "Work?" "Yes, work." Too quickly. Eric leaned forward, elbows on his knees. "Hana, if something is wrong, you can tell me." "Nothing is wrong." She stood up, grabbing her bag. "Just stress, report deadline, nothing major." A lie. He saw it. In the way she wouldn't look at him, in the tension of her shoulders, in the way she left without properly kissing him goodbye. Connor was right that Friday when Eric told him, "Brother, she's hiding something big. You need to confront her." "I'm not going to pressure her. If she wants to tell me, she will. What if she doesn't?" Eric didn't have an answer. 5 years ago, Elqui Valley, Chile. Hana was very young and had the whole world ahead of her. Be careful with this section. Dr. Sarah Hamashiro, her mentor, a renowned geologist, a surrogate mother, warned. Unstable formation. See those fissures? Hana analyzed it, made calculations. Youthful confidence overcoming caution. It's safe. The structure holds. Sarah hesitated. "Are you sure?" "Absolutely." She wasn't. 10 minutes later, the ceiling began to collapse. Sarah pushed Hana out of the way. Rocks fell. Dust suffocated the air, screams, darkness. When the team arrived, Hana was alive. Sarah wasn't. She was found 3 days later, buried. Instantaneous, they said. Without suffering, they lied. Hana was never the same. The guilt settled in like an internal scar for years. Invisible, but constant. Every cave she explored afterward was an attempt at redemption. Every discovery, a silent apology. "Forgive me, Sarah. Forgive me." Now the email had arrived 2 weeks ago. International Geological Institute. Expedition leadership. Akiyoshi Caves, Japan's most complex system. 18 months, starting in 8 weeks. The opportunity of a lifetime. Professional redemption, but also abandonment. Hana stared at the screen, her stomach churning. Eric didn't know about Chile. He didn't know about Sarah. He didn't know Hana carried death on her back. How to tell him? "Hi, honey. I was responsible for the loss of my mentor due to past incompetence, and now I'm going to Japan for a year and a half to prove I'm not useless." She closed the laptop, took a deep breath. Normalcy. Just for today. I'll tell him tomorrow. A lie she had repeated for 2 weeks. Thursday, she arranged a meeting at their cave, where they almost kissed for the first time. Eric arrived smiling, flashlight, no pink heart now, sweatshirt, and that way about him that made the world feel safe. "Hi, my cherry." "Hi." She kissed him, but it was quick, mechanical. He noticed. They descended together, but the silence felt wrong, heavy. At the subterranean lake, Eric pulled her onto his lap, trying to be lighthearted. You know, my shoulder is a little stiff again. A playful smile. I think I need another magic massage. Hana smiled, but didn't answer. Eric touched her face, turning it to look at him. Hana, what is going on? Nothing. It's not nothing. His voice was firm but gentle. You're distant, distracted, hiding something. I'm not hiding anything. But her voice trembled. Hana. He held her face between his hands, forcing eye contact. I know you. I know when you're shouldering a burden alone. And this? His thumb brushed her cheek. This is a burden. A big one. Her eyes welled up, but she blinked, pulling away. Eric, I'm just tired, okay? Work is intense. I need time to process some things. Time. The word came out flat. Or are you pushing me away? It's not that. Then what is it? Silence. He waited. Patient, but desperate inside. I can't talk about it now. She stood up, moving away. But it's not about you, I promise. If it's not about me, why won't you tell me? Because it's complicated. Her voice echoed in the cave. Hana covered her mouth, regretful. Eric stood up slowly, took a step back. Space. Okay. His voice was controlled. Calm, that was costly. When you're ready, I'll wait. Eric, I'll wait, Hana. But don't freeze me out. Don't take me out of the equation. He touched his chest over his heart. Partners, remember? Side by side. Not alone. She wanted to scream. I'm going to Japan, and I don't know how to tell you without hurting you. But she couldn't. Let's go up, she just said. They ascended in silence. In the parking lot, Hana got into her car without looking back. Eric stood still, hands in his pockets, watching her leave. Connor was right. Something big was happening. And for the first time since they met, Eric felt fear. Not of fire, not of collapse, but of losing her. It was night. Eric sat on the porch, Sir Wiggles too beside him, a beer in his hand. His phone rang. Jessica. Hey, short stack. Are you okay? Your voice sounds strange. I am just thinking. About Hana? How do you? I'm your sister, I know. A pause. What happened? She's hiding something big, and I don't know how to make her trust me enough to tell me. Eric, did you try just asking her? I did. She said she can't talk about it. Then give her time, but don't let go. Don't let her face it alone, whatever it is. What if she doesn't want my help? Jessica sighed. Then you stand by her anyway, because that's what love does. After hanging up, Eric looked up at the starry sky. I'm here, Hana, he murmured to the wind. When you're ready, I'm here. But the doubt gnawed at him. What was she hiding? And why did it feel so much like goodbye? The Yoshida dining table had never looked so small. Hiroshi was studying maps on the left. Keiko was arranging flowers on the right. Rin was fiddling with her phone in front. And Hana, in the center, with a laptop open showing the email that would change everything. 18 months, Hiroshi said eventually, his voice neutral. Full leadership, Akiyoshi. He raised his eyes. It's what you always wanted, Hana. It wasn't a question. It was recognition. I know, Hana murmured. But is it what you want now? Keiko's voice cut in, soft but precise. Her fingers paused on the ikebana, her eyes on her daughter's. Hana opened her mouth, closed it. I don't know. How do you not know? Rin exploded, throwing her phone onto the table. You have Eric, the hottest, tallest firefighter in the city. And you're going to leave him to be buried in a cave in Japan for years? Rin, Hiroshi warned. No, seriously. Rin looked at her sister, incredulous. He loves you. It's obvious he loves you, and you love him. So why are you even considering this? Because it's my career. Hana felt frustration rising. It's not just dating, Rin, it's redemption. Proof. I need to do this. Why? Keiko asked, gentle. Who do you need to prove it to? A heavy silence. Myself. Keiko put the flower down, approaching. She sat next to her daughter, taking her hand. Daughter, you have been carrying Sarah for 5 years. When will you forgive yourself? Hana felt tears burn. When I prove that I'm not incompetent. A killer. You didn't kill anyone, Hiroshi said, firm. It was an accident, a miscalculation that any geologist could make. Sarah knew the risks, but it was me. Hana whispered. My responsibility. Keiko squeezed her daughter's hand. And Eric? Does he know? No. Hana, Rin began, but Keiko held up a hand. You have 1 week to decide. Keiko touched her daughter's face. But whatever decision you make, don't hide it from him. He deserves the truth, and you deserve not to carry this alone. 5 days. The deadline tightening like a knot. Hana studied proposals, articles, Akiyoshi maps until late hours. Her phone constantly lit up. Eric, wanna grab? Dinner tomorrow? Read, no answer. Eric, everything okay over there? Read, no answer. Eric, Hana, just tell me if you're okay. Read, no answer. On the 4th day, Eric showed up. He knocked on the Yoshida's door at 8 p.m., still in uniform. His shift was just ending. Rin opened it, looked at him, and shouted, Finally, someone with sense. Rin, what the? My sister is being stupid. She pulled him inside. Fix this, tall firefighter. You're the only one she listens to. Eric went upstairs with permission. He knew the way. He knocked on Hana's bedroom door. Hana, it's me. Silence. I know you're in there, and I'm not leaving until you open up. 10 seconds, 20, 30. The door opened. Hana looked broken. Messy hair, red eyes, oversized sweatshirt, barefoot. Eric. He stepped inside, closing the door behind him. He took her face in his hands, studying her. You haven't been sleeping. I'm fine. Lie. His thumb brushed her dark circles. Hana, please, talk to me. And for a moment she almost collapsed. But then she saw the bowl of cherries on the side table. She picked one up. Open up. Eric obeyed, confused. She offered him the cherry, lightly touching the fruit to his lips. A small, sad smile. You're my handsome bear-hug firefighter, she murmured. Did you know that? The visible confusion of feelings within her was remarkable, and he noticed it. Eric swallowed the cherry, holding her wrist. Hana, I love you, Eric. The sincere words finally escaped, broken. I love you so much it hurts. Eric felt his chest simultaneously explode and implode. He should have been overwhelmed with happiness. But why did it feel so confusing? Then why are you pushing me away? Because, she stepped back, hugging herself. Because I don't know how to balance you and everything else. Everything else what? He took a step closer. Hana, let me in, please. I need space, Eric. Space for what? To decide if I'm worth it? If what we have is worth it? It's not about you. Then what is it about? His voice rose, frustration spilling out. Because from where I'm standing, it looks like you're running away. I'm not running. She turned, her eyes blazing. I'm trying to do the right thing. The right thing for who? For you? Or for the ghost you're still carrying? Hana froze. How do you? I know, Hana. Not the details. You told me that someone died in the past. And I know something is gnawing at you. And instead of letting me help, you're locking me out. Because you can't fix this. She screamed, tears falling. You're a firefighter, Eric. You save people. But me? I was responsible for someone's death. And nothing you do will change that. A brutal silence. Eric took a step back, processing. Hana, it was 5 years ago. Chile, it was my mentor. Sarah, her voice was broken. My mistake. The cave collapsed. She died saving me. And now I have a chance to prove I'm not incompetent. That I can be good at what I do, but it means… Her breath hitched. It means 18 months in Japan, to start, and leaving next week. It's that or you, and I don't know how to choose. Eric felt the ground disappear. Japan. 18 months. Eric, when were you going to tell me? His voice was dangerously calm. Next week when you were already leaving? Or were you just going to disappear while I stayed here making plans for a future with you? I don't know, okay, I don't know. She covered her face, ashamed, frustrated, broken. Because I love you and I don't want to lose you, but I also can't live being the girl who killed her mentor and gave up her career. Don't be unfair to me, I never asked you to give up. But you would have asked me to stay. She looked at him desperate. And if you asked? I would stay, Eric. And I would hate myself. And one day I might resent you too. The mum. Truth cut deep. Eric felt something break in his chest, and it hurt immensely. Then you've already decided. No. Yes, you have. He walked to the door, his hand on the knob. Because if I truly mattered, you wouldn't have hidden it. You would have talked to me, and you wouldn't have judged me before knowing what I would say. Side by side, remember? I thought you knew me a little better. Eric, don't leave like this. I can't help you if you don't let me in, Hana. He looked over his shoulder, his blue eyes dull and sad. But it looks like you've already made your choice. Alone. And he left. The door closed with a thud. The echo died. Hana collapsed onto the floor, sobbing. Minutes later, Rin walked in. She sat next to her sister, putting her arm around her shoulders. Do you love him? Too much, Hana cried. So much I don't know how to exist without him. Then why are you pushing him away? Hana had no answer, only tears and the bitter taste of cherry on her tongue. 2 days. Eric didn't reply to messages. He didn't answer calls. He just worked, returned home, and sat on the porch with Sir Wiggles II and a heavy silence. Connor tried once. Brother, you need to. Not now, Con. The tone cut off any insistence. Eric wasn't angry. He was processing. The pain of discovering that the woman he loved carried such deep trauma and didn't trust him enough to share it. The loneliness of realizing that once again, someone he loved was leaving. Would she return? Fire needs oxygen, but too much wind extinguishes the flame. Keiko's words echoed. He understood. Rationally, he understood, but his chest hurt all the same. On the second night, Jessica called. Hey, big brother. Hey, short stack. His voice was tired. What happened? And don't tell me nothing. He sighed, recounting everything. The Japan trip, the 18 months away, the secret, the fight. Silence on the other end. Then, Eric, remember when I moved to New York? Of course, you let me go even though you were scared, because you knew I needed it. It was the professional opportunity of my life. This is different, Jess. You told me. We talked. She hid it from me, because maybe she was scared. Jessica paused. Scared you wouldn't understand. Scared of losing you. Scared of herself. I would have understood. Would you have? A gentle challenge. Or would you have tried to convince her to stay? Eric opened his mouth, closed it. Honesty hurt. Maybe. See? She knows you, Eric. She knows you're protective, and sometimes protection feels like a prison when it's not fully understood. I just wanted to have time to process, to show her that I would support her. That's what hurts the most, Jess. She didn't even give me the chance. Then give her the chance now. Her voice was soft. Show her your heart. Let her see you. For real. After hanging up, Eric stood in the darkness, his hand in his pocket, feeling the velvet box he had been carrying for 3 weeks. He had planned to propose to her at the end of the month. A special dinner. Perfect. Now, everything had collapsed. He opened the box. A white gold ring with a delicate cherry blossom inlaid in rose quartz. Delicate, strong her. What do I do? He asked the dog. Sir Wiggles too barked. Obvious. In canine logic. Go after her, you idiot. The early morning hours crept on. It was 2:47 a.m. Desperate knocking broke through the silence at the door. Eric woke with a start, his heart pounding. He checked his phone. No emergency from the station. He hurried downstairs, Sir Wiggles II growling softly. He opened the door. Hana. Messy hair, red eyes, sweatshirt, pajama pants, feet in slippers. Hana? What? He looked behind her, alert. Is everything okay? Did something happen? She didn't answer. She just threw herself at him, her arms around his neck, her face buried in his chest, sobs shaking her entire body. Eric instinctively caught her, closing the door with his foot, carrying her inside. Hey, hey. He sat her on the sofa, kneeling in front of her. Hana, look at me. What happened? She held his face in her hands, tears falling. Forgive me. Her voice was broken. Forgive me for being selfish, insensitive, cowardly, for not trusting you, for hurting you. Hana, I accepted the proposal. Her breath hitched. But I asked for a reduction. 6 months. Only 6. Because I can't imagine being away from you for any longer. Eric felt something clench and release simultaneously. You don't have to apologize for doing what you need to do. Yes, I do. She pulled him closer, foreheads touching. I thought you wouldn't understand. The pain, the guilt, that you would try to stop me, and I couldn't risk losing you. so I preferred to push you away first, like a coward." Eric closed his eyes, taking a deep breath. Then he pulled her onto his lap, completely. Sitting on the sofa, she nestled against his chest. "Listen to me now, okay?" His voice was husky. "Just listen." She nodded against his neck. 2 years ago, there was a fire in a residential building. A family trapped on the 3rd floor. I managed to get the father, the mother out. But the boy, a painful pause, 8 years old. He was hiding under the bed. When I found him, it was too late. Smoke. Inhalation. He died in the hospital 3 hours later. Hana lifted her head, her eyes wide. "Eric, I carried that. I still carry it." He held her face, his blue eyes glistening with moisture. The guilt of not being fast enough, of not saving him. And you know what consumed me? The idea that I was incompetent, unworthy of wearing the uniform. "You are not." "I know, now I know, because you showed me." His thumb wiped away her tear. "You made me see that sometimes we can't save everyone. And that doesn't make us any less, it makes us human." Hana sobbed, clutching his shirt. "You are already amazing, Hana. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. But I understand that you need to prove it to yourself, that you need to cross the desert to find peace, to reconnect with yourself." He kissed her forehead, long. "I just wished you had given me the chance to show you that I would be with you, not stopping you, not trapping you, but by your side, always." The words broke something in her. Tears streamed down her face, and then she began to talk more in detail, about Sarah, about Chile, about 5 years of gnawing guilt, about thinking she would never be enough, about being afraid of not deserving love, of not deserving him. Eric just held her, let her pour out years of pain, and when she finished, exhausted, he spoke. "I love you." Simple, absolute. He gently caressed the beautiful tattoo on her leg, the branch of cherry blossoms in bloom, so unique, so her, remembering her words when she explained the meaning. "You are not a beautiful and ephemeral flower to be enjoyed while it lasts. You are eternal in my heart." He took a deep breath. There's an old Turkish proverb that says when you truly love someone, you love them twice. The first time is the magic. It's the butterflies in your stomach. You're drawn to their laughter, their smile, the way they talk with their hands, or how they say your name, as if it has a special meaning. That's the easy version of love, the one they show the world. But time passes, the masks fall, and you start to notice the parts the person hides, the anxiety, the fears, the trust issues, the silences that last too long, the small habits that come from deep scars. And that's when most people leave. But if you stay, even after seeing the mess, even when it's already part of the routine, that's when the second love begins. It's the true love, the steady love, the kind of love that says, "I understand you and I chose to stay," because saying "I love you" after the difficult parts appear is no longer a feeling, it's a promise. Tears streamed silently down Hana's face as Eric hugged her affectionately. "I love you, Hana Yoshida. Since the first second I saw you covered in dust with amber eyes in that cave. I love you when you are strong, and I love you when you break. I love you when you push me away because you're afraid of hurting me." His voice was choked. "And I will love you while you are in Japan, and even more when you return, and every day that follows." Hana felt the entire weight and strength of those words flood her heart, bringing forth a profound sense of acceptance and belonging. She looked at him, truly looked, and she saw, in the depths of his moist blue eyes, the profoundness with which he was capable of loving. She saw the loneliness he carried, the longing for the parents he lost, the necessary absence, the sister who left, the guilt for the boy he didn't save, the life built on being strong as a foundation for everyone else, but never having anyone to be strong for him, until her, and now she was leaving too. But he was letting her, for her own sake, he was losing once again. Good God, Eric was so profound and wonderful. How could she not love him? "I love you, Eric," she whispered. "I love you so much it hurts to breathe without you near." Eric pulled her into a kiss, deep, desperate, full of everything that words couldn't carry. And when they separated, breathless, foreheads touching, something shifted. The air became charged, her hands on his chest, his hands on her waist. "Eric," her voice was low, husky. "I want you." He froze, and a current of heat began to run through his veins. "Hana, you don't have to. I want you." She held his face, her eyes ablaze. "Before I leave, I want to live this love with you. Completely. I want to have you, to have us, a memory to sustain me when I'm far away." Eric took a shaky breath, honor and desire battling. "I don't want you to do anything you'll regret. The only thing I would regret," she kissed him slowly, "is leaving without having loved you like this. You are the man of my life." And Eric, the man of control and restraint, surrendered. He picked her up, carried her up the stairs, and he loved her. The rest of the night belonged to the two of them, in silence and tenderness. 3 days later, the eve of her departure, Hana was driving back from a farewell with some professional friends, heading for a family dinner. But when she turned onto the street, she stopped. The house was glowing. Japanese lanterns hung in the trees, a path of cherry blossom petals, and in the center of the garden, under a lit arch, Eric, full firefighter uniform, impeccable, strong, handsome, and waiting for her. Hana got out of the car in slow motion, her heart exploding. Her family was on the porch. Hiroshi with his arm around Keiko, both smiling. Rin was recording on her phone, crying. Connor was silently pumping his fist in celebration. Eric held out his hand. She walked toward him, barefoot on the petals, trembling. "Hana Yoshida." His voice was firm, emotional. "I'm a firefighter. I save people." She laughed, crying. "But you saved me. From a half-lived, lonely life. You brought a storm of fascinating and rich discoveries. You expanded my whole world." He took a small box from his pocket. He knelt down. Then he opened it. The ring sparkled under the lanterns. "I was scared of losing you, but I'm more afraid of you not being you. The incredible, courageous woman who faces ghosts and wins." Her tears fell freely. "Go to Japan. Prove what you need to prove to yourself. I will be here, waiting." He smiled, his eyes wet and shining. "Because you are not my prisoner. You are my choice. Every day, forever." He held her hand. "And when you come back," he whispered just for her to hear, "I want your cherry kisses for the rest of my life." He paused briefly. "Marry me, Hana?" She collapsed onto her knees in front of him, sobbing. "Yes, yes, yes." Eric slid the ring on her finger. "Perfect." And he kissed her under the lanterns, under emotional eyes, under a promise of the future. When they separated, she whispered, "6 months, I promise. And when I come back, I'll be the woman who deserves you. You already are, my love." He touched his forehead to hers. "Always have been, my cherry." And there, in the illuminated garden, with her family crying and Connor yelling, "I knew it," Eric Whitfield and Hana Yoshida sealed a commitment, a promise for life. 6 months of waiting, a lifetime of love. The airport never seemed so cruel. Hana held Eric's hand as if letting go would mean disappearing. The Yoshida family was around them, Keiko crying. Discreetly, Hiroshi's hand on his wife's shoulder, Rin openly and loudly sniffing. 6 months, Hana whispered, her forehead touching his. 180 days, Eric replied. I counted. She gave a tearful laugh. I love you. I love you more. The kiss was long, deep, liquid promise. When they finally separated, she picked up her backpack, looked back one last time. He was waving, his smile firm but his eyes glistening with moisture, and boarded the plane, and Eric stayed. There until the plane became a speck in the sky. The days melted into a routine of longing. Daily video calls became oxygen. Hana would show him Japanese caves, limestone formations that looked like subterranean cathedrals, internal rivers gleaming under flashlight. Eric would show her Sir Wiggles too, lying on her bed, sniffing her pillow. He misses you, Eric said. Only him? Hana teased, a mischievous smile. Okay, me too. A little. A little? Maybe a lot. Maybe I sleep with your shirt every day. She melted. Eric Whitfield, you are my fuzzy bear. Fridays became sacred at the Yoshida house. Eric arrived with flowers, dined with the family, helped Keiko cook increasingly complex dishes. "You're almost Japanese," Rin teased one night watching him make perfect gyoza. "Almost? You still need to master chopsticks without dropping food on the dog." Sir Wiggles too barked, offended. In the 4th month, Hana called, crying. Eric answered in a panic. "What happened?" "My paper was accepted." Her voice was choked with joy. "International Geological Institute. Magazine cover. Eric, I did it. I forgave myself." He felt his chest swell with pride. "I always knew you would, my cherry blossom. I couldn't have done it without you. Lie, you are incredible on your own." I just stood on the sidelines, cheering. In the 5th month, the longing became physical. It hurt. Connor found Eric looking at photos on his phone, a goofy smile on his face. "Not much longer, brother. It's not short enough." And then, the week before her return, Eric did something impulsive. He took a vacation, bought a ticket, sent a text. "I'm on the plane. See you in 14 hours. I love you, my cherry." The response came in all caps and 5 crying emojis. Tokyo was sensory chaos, neon, crowds, the smell of street food, sounds Eric couldn't identify. But when he saw Hana waiting at the arrival gate, her brown hair longer, her smile exploding, across her face, the world made sense again. She ran. He dropped his suitcase, a collision into a hug that stole the breath from both of them. "You came," she cried into his neck. "Of course I came. Did you think I was going to let you come back alone? Technically, there's still a week left." "Exactly. A week for you to show me your world." And she did show him. Ancient temples where Eric stood in reverent silence. Markets where she bought ingredients and explained each one. Caves near Akiyoshi where he saw her work up close. Detailed maps, precise notes, evident passion. "You're a genius," he murmured, studying the maps. "I'm efficient. Genius." He pulled her by the waist, kissing her temple. "And mine." At night, in a modest but clean hotel, they rediscovered each other in a way that made 6 months of longing explode into a mixture of urgency and tenderness. Hands rediscovering curves, lips memorizing tastes. Cherry, always cherry, in a night. Market. Eric noticed glances. Several. Men looking at Hana, delicate curves in her light dress, her hair loose, her luminous smile. One in particular, a big man with the build of a wrestler, stared too long. Eric took a step closer, his arm possessively around her waist. "Were you the target of these stares the whole time?" he asked quietly, his jaw tense. Hana noticed, biting her lip not to laugh. "Jealous, fireman?" "Legitimate concern. That guy over there looks like a sumo wrestler." "He's the store's security guard." "Security guard who is looking at you like you're a prize." Hana burst into genuine laughter, turning to him. "Eric Whitfield, are you jealous of a Japanese security guard?" "I'm not jealous. I'm strategically alert." He looked at the man, then at her. "If you had told me you were facing hordes of modern samurai trying to win you over, I would have come sooner, to escort you on your cave incursions." "Escort?" She stood on her, tiptoes kissing his chin. "My official protector?" "Exactly. And now that I've discovered that the Japanese are experts in discretion," he leaned in, whispering in her ear, "I just learned 3 new ways to make a body disappear without leaving evidence. Courtesy of the local masters." Hana laughed so loud that people looked. "You are ridiculous." "I'm efficient." He pulled her closer. "And I'm going to need a katana for the next visit." "You with a katana would be an international disaster, or a perfect solution. Depends on the angle." She kissed him right there in the middle of the market, laughing against his lips, happy in a way she didn't know was possible. The week flew by, and when they finally boarded the return flight, hands intertwined, Sir Wiggles too waiting at home, the Yoshida family waiting at the airport, Eric whispered, "Welcome back, my cherry. Technically, we haven't arrived yet." "You have arrived." He kissed the engagement. Ring on her finger. "You're with me, you're already home." And Hana, finally at peace with herself, finally free from guilt, finally whole, smiled. "Yes, it's home. You are my home." When they arrived in Maplewood, the family burst into tears and hugs. Keiko held her daughter as if she would never let go. Hiroshi squeezed Eric's shoulder, a small gesture, immense meaning. Rin hung on to Hana, shouting, "You're back now for the wedding." Connor showed up. Of course he showed up, with a bye sign, "Welcome home, future Mrs. Whitfield." Eric couldn't hold back his laughter. Hana loved every second, and there, surrounded by family, by blood and by choice, she knew she had crossed the desert and found home. 3 months later, the Yoshida garden had never looked so beautiful. Japanese lanterns swayed among the branches of American trees. The ceremonial arch was a fusion of bamboo with Maplewood wildflowers. Chairs were arranged in a semicircle, half facing the western altar, half facing the traditional Japanese rug spread out beside it. A perfect fusion, like them. Eric waited at the altar, his firefighter dress uniform impeccable, medals gleaming on his chest. Connor stood beside him, his jacket ill-fitting, a huge grin on his face. "You're nervous," Connor murmured. "I am not. Your hand is shaking." "It is not." "It is." Connor squeezed his friend's shoulder. "But relax. She already said yes. Now it's just the easy part." Eric laughed, taking a deep breath. The music began. Classical violin mixed with Japanese koto, a melody that made the heart ache with its beauty. Rin appeared first, maid of honor, in a soft pink dress, tossing petals and taking a selfie at the same time. Then Jessica, matron of honor, an elegant blue dress, a bouquet in her hands, and tears already streaming down her face. "You're crying," James whispered from the front row, holding the restless twins. "Of course I am. My brother is getting married." Jessica sobbed, smiling. And then, her. Hana appeared on Hiroshi's arm. Her dress was a work of art, flowing white silk with delicate cherry blossom embroidery climbing up the side, a modest neckline, a light train. Her brown hair was styled in an ornate bun with a natural cherry blossom. Light makeup enhanced her amber eyes that glowed like molten gold. Perfect. Eric forgot how to breathe. Connor nudged him. "Breathe, brother." Hiroshi walked slowly, each step weighted with meaning. When they reached the altar, he stopped, looked at Eric. A long silence, then he extended Hana's hand. "Take care of her," he said, his voice choked. "As I have cared for her, as she deserves." Eric took her hand, squeezing Hiroshi's at the same time. "With my life, sir." Hiroshi nodded, and in front of everyone, he hugged his son-in-law. Tight. Total approval. Hana cried. Eric did too. When they stood facing each other, hands intertwined, the officiant began. But it was during the, personal vows that the world stopped. Eric took a deep breath, his eyes fixed on her. "Hana, I am a firefighter. My job is to save people." A pause. "But you? You don't need saving, you never did. And I promise, never to try." A small smile. "But I promise to stand by your side in dark caves, on bright days, in storms. In calm, always. Side by side." Hana sobbed, squeezing his hands. "Eric, I promise to return from every cave, from every expedition, from every place work takes." Tears falling. "Because I discovered that my favorite place in the whole world is not beneath millions of years of stone. It is in your arms, and that is where I will be, always." Connor loudly sniffled, wiping his eyes. "Dude," he mumbled. "That was beautiful." "Connor," Jake hissed. Soft laughter broke the emotional tension. "I now pronounce you husband and wife," the officiant announced, smiling. "You may kiss the bride." Eric didn't need further invitation. He pulled Hana to him, one hand on her waist, the other on her face, and he kissed her. Deep, complete. A promise sealed. Applause erupted. Andrew shouted, "Kiss," from James's lap. The twins clapped their hands without understanding. Sir Wiggles II barked, his tie crooked on his neck. And when they separated, foreheads touching, Eric whispered, "Hello, Mrs. Whitfield." "Hello, Mr. Whitfield." She smiled, radiant. "Ready for this adventure?" "I was born ready." The reception was a spectacle in itself. The garden transformed into a fairy tale. Lights hung, tables decorated with Keiko's arrangements, living works of art, live music, and food that mixed American barbecue with Japanese sushi. Connor called it the best fusion in history. Jessica found Eric near the dessert table, hugging him from behind. "You found it, big brother." Her voice was soft, emotional. "You're forever." Eric turned, pulling his sister into a tight embrace. "Thank you." "For what?" "For reminding Me that letting someone fly isn't losing them. It's love, Jessica cried again. James appeared, handing her a tissue. She's been like this all day. It's impressive. Near the arch, Uncle Robert and Aunt Diane chatted with John Sinclair, Eileen's husband, a smooth-talking prosecutor. So, John said, slapping Eric on the shoulder, you're the guy who threatened James with 17 ways to make a body disappear? 18, James corrected. He created a new one afterward just for… Eric laughed, scratching the back of his neck. I was… protective. You were intimidating. James chimed in, but he was laughing. It worked. Look how happy we are. Uncle Robert, Eric's father's brother, a big man with a gray beard, laughed heartily. Whitfield tradition. Protecting the women in the family. I did the same with your mother, Eric. Almost gave your father a heart attack. And I'll do the same when my Rachel starts dating, James declared, looking at his 2-year-old daughter running with Andrew. In about 15 years. Try 20, John suggested. Safer. I'll do that with Carly, my pistachio. 30. Connor appeared, a cup in his hand. Women don't date until they're 30. Rule. You're drunk, Eric observed. Slightly. Connor raised his cup, but functional enough to give a speech soon. Get the tissues ready. And he did. 10 minutes later, at the microphone, Connor swayed slightly, a mischievous grin on his face. Everyone! Everyone! He waited for silence. I want to make a toast. To my best friend, Eric Whitfield. He pointed dramatically. You are this city's hero. You were too slow in the love game, I admit. But I always knew you would find the right woman. You said he would die alone, Jake shouted from the back. Details. Connor dismissed him. The important thing is, I was right. Eventually. Hana, welcome to the madness. Eric, you are the luckiest man in the world. He raised his cup. To the newlyweds, to the newlyweds, everyone repeated, laughing. Keiko arranged flowers at the main table, a serene smile on her face. Hiroshi watched everything with silent pride. Rin took photos of everything, already at 500 and counting. Andrew chased Sir Wiggles too, who loved the attention. Rachel and Richard, the twins, ate cake with their hands, their faces covered in frosting. Chaotic perfection. A few months later, the porch of the house was quiet. A full moon bathed everything in silver. Eric and Hana swayed slowly in the hammock he had installed last week, their bodies intertwined. A comfortable silence. Ready for the next adventure, fireman? Hana asked, her fingers playing with his wedding ring. With you always, my beautiful speleologist. He kissed the top of her head. But now I'm curious. What adventure are you referring to? Did you discover a new cave? Hana disentangled herself, grabbing something from the side table. A small package. Inside, a toy fire truck. Tiny. Eric took it, confused. Thank you, but I'm over 30. Hana chuckled softly. She took his hand and placed it on her belly. Eric forgot how to breathe. Hana, congratulations, my handsome and charming Lieutenant Eric Whitfield. Her amber eyes shone brighter than ever. You have just been promoted to the rank of Maplewood's most handsome and protective dad. She rested his hand on her still flat abdomen, her voice soft. A little Yoshida Whitfield is growing in here. Silence. Eric froze, his eyes wide, his mouth slightly open. Then everything collapsed, in the best way. He lifted her into a bear hug, spinning, laughing, and crying simultaneously, their faces buried in each other's necks. Seriously? His voice was choked. I'm going to be a father? Seriously? Hana giggled through happy sobs. But put me down before I throw up on your shoulder, honey. Eric set her down with exaggerated care, as if she were made of crystal. He immediately knelt down, his large, calloused hands enveloping her still flat belly, reverent, trembling. Hi, little one. His voice was husky, broken with emotion. This is your daddy. I still don't know what I'm doing, but I promise. He kissed her belly through her clothes. I promise to protect you, to love you, to teach you everything I know, and I can't wait to meet you. Hana ran her fingers through his dark hair, tears streaming freely. Our child is going to have the best father in the whole world. Eric lifted his head, a smile stretched across his wet face. Our daughter, he corrected, stubborn but playful. Son, daughter. Hana arched an eyebrow. Bet. He stood up, pulling her into another hug. Gentle now, protective. But it doesn't matter. Boy, girl, as long as it's ours. It's going to be perfect. She rested her forehead against his. Because it's ours. Eric held her face in his hands, his thumbs wiping away her tears. Thank you. His voice was low, intense. For the most incredible gift anyone has ever given me. For giving me family again. For, his breath trembled, for choosing me for this. Hana smiled, her eyes shining like molten gold. Eric Whitfield, it is a privilege to be the mother of your children. Her hands on his chest, feeling his heart racing. You are the most extraordinary man I have ever met. And our baby is going to be so loved they won't even know what to do with so much love. Eric couldn't speak. He just pulled her back, a full bear hug, his face buried in her hair, his shoulders shaking with silent, happy crying. I love you, he murmured against her neck. I love you so much I can't contain it. I love you. She squeezed him back, strong. My bear firefighter, the precious father of my children, my forever. They stayed like that, swaying under the moon. 2 hearts, soon 3. Then Eric pulled back slightly, wiping his own face, smiling like a complete fool. We're going to need a crib, and diapers, and, oh my God, I know almost nothing about babies. Hana laughed, a musical and light sound. You'll learn. We'll learn together. Together. He kissed her forehead, then her nose, then, finally, her lips. The taste of cherry, a bear hug, a promise of the future. And in the silence that followed as the moon bathed the world in silver, Eric Whitfield knew his life finally was complete. Years later, the garden of the house shone with the afternoon light. The cherry tree they had planted was blooming soft pink. Eric pushed Kato, 4 years old, dark brown hair, curious blue eyes, on the swing. The boy shouted, "Higher, Daddy," while holding a toy flashlight, a future speleologist, no doubt. Hana chased Sakura, 2 years old, amber eyes, brown curls, pure energy, who was rescuing Mochi, the fat white cat who hated being carried but loved the girl. I'm a firefighter, Sakura declared, her toy helmet crooked. Saving Kitty, Mochi meowed, suffering. Saku, sweetie, let go of Mochi, Hana asked, laughing. He's not in danger. Yes, he is. Sakura squeezed tighter. Eric picked up his daughter, rescuing the cat. Come here, my little firefighter. Let's save the kitty by letting him go. Sakura considered, released Mochi, who bolted inside the house, hugged her dad. You're a better firefighter, Daddy. You are going to be better. He kissed her cheek. Hana approached, hugging both of them. Kaito got off the swing, joining the group, giggling. Family, complete. Under the blossoming cherry trees, Eric looked at Hana. I love you, my beautiful little cherry. I love you, my big firefighter. She stood on her tiptoes, kissing him. Sweet, eternal. And as the children ran, laughing, we can't stop sighing over this story. How about you? Tell us in the comments what you thought of Eric and Hana's romance. What was your favorite scene? We want to know everything. The complete playlist of the Sinclair and Whitfield trilogy, John and Aline, Jessica and James, and now Eric and Hana, is in the cards and pinned comment. Binge reading guaranteed. And we send a huge special thank you to our lovely follower, Sharon Phillips, who inspired us with an incredible idea to create Hana and make the heart of the channel's most requested firefighter happy. This story is dedicated to you, Sharon, and to all the loyal romantics who make this channel exist. You are amazing. See you in the next love story. Until then, sweet dreams and many happy endings.